We are live. Welcome back to another Sunday show, the best live show in the gig economy. Hope you guys are well. Happy Sunday. There's a lot to go over today. I'm going to have a couple special guests on. Man, this lighting in here is really off for me. I don't know what's going on, but anyways, okay. Hope you guys are doing great. This weekend has been a really good weekend for me. I'll talk about the week and this weekend a little bit, and I'm going to get into the show topics in a moment. And I think there's going to be some interesting things happening at some point in this stream tonight. So I'm really looking forward to any and all that's going to go down tonight. Your boy's looking a little crazy. It's been a long day. It's been a long day, but a great day. Family day. Got a lot done. Okay, let's just get into the nuts and bolts. Now, we're going to have a special guest on at about 9:30 talking about independent contractors, reclassification proposal by the Labor Department and the Biden administration, what that might mean for you, what it means. I had an interesting conversation with a family member tonight that is an independent contractor, and he manages and runs independent contracting. They do paint. He's a painter. He does painting for homes and things like that. And talked to him about it. My stepmother is a real estate agent. She's independent as well. She's a 1099. Okay. She works with realting companies, but she's not an employee. So this has a lot of layers, and it's actually bigger than just us gig drivers, DoorDash drivers, Uber drivers. So we're going to get into some of that this evening. I don't want any of us to feel like we are employees right now, because we're not. If anything, we might be misclassified. We're employees without benefits, but we're not employees. So some drivers want to be. That's a sure thing. Some people want to be employees, and that's okay. I'm not necessarily against that. Somebody feeling a certain way for whatever reason, it is what it is. But we're going to get into how it, if this proposal happens, what it could really do to the gig economy, what it could do to you, what it could do to other independent contractors, because almost 60 million people do 1099 independent contractor work. 60 million, it's over a third of the American workforce. So a lot of people will be affected by this, whether it's negative for them or positive. Also, we're going to get into the video that I posted yesterday of the driver that delivered a Wingstop order with an empty cup. Cup was empty. And he made a joke about it, saying, when you pick up food from a lazy restaurant, this is what the customer gets. And he gets the clown award of the month. Okay, so the StreamYard link will be open after our special guest, and we're going to have people on. We're going to talk about that. Should drivers be making or filling cups? We've talked about this several months ago. There's a lot of passionate reasons on both sides as to why we should, why we shouldn't. Against TOS, it's a health department issue, safety issue, food sanitation issue. Some people are like, that's not my job. I get it. I want to hear from you. If you're somebody that doesn't want to make a Dr. Pepper for somebody, call in. I think the guy in yesterday's video did the order all the way through, didn't make the cup, and gave horrible customer service. I think that dude's an absolute clown. You don't get more clownish than that. I put him in the same boat as the people that take no trip orders and get mad about it and make these TikToks and get mad and make these Facebook posts and YouTube videos, and they're shaking sodas and kicking bags and doing. If you deliver food that way, you are a clown. I would love to hear from you tonight. You can call me a clown for saying it. I'll call you a clown. We can't move like that. And if you're that bitter and angry, you got to do another kind of work. Okay. When we're tampering and playing with customers' foods, that's horrific. It's bad. It's embarrassing. And you're making a lot of really good drivers look bad. And you're also affecting my tips and the viewers' tips, because if I'm a consumer and I see a driver do that and deliver me on purpose an empty cup and thinks it's funny, why do I want to tip the next? That's bad customer service. You're affecting the gig economy. So all the clowns out there, the StreamYard link will be open. Anybody that has a different opinion about the employee versus 1099, making drinks, not making drinks, listen, tonight the live is open. I will be respectful. This is not a drama channel, but I do want to have different opinions on. So what up, Hannibal? What up? Hold up. Thanks for the 10, man. That's not necessary. What's he got? Go Giants. Oh, listen, man. Why you got to troll me like that? That's my dude, though. All right. So let me give some shout outs to who's in the chat here. That's what the show is going to be about. We're also going to talk about the upcoming virtual con fall Virtual GigCon Fall 2022, which will be next Saturday. Super excited about that. We're going to get into some of those details, and we'll talk about that tonight as well. Let me get into the chat, see who we got here. What up, PPP? Cup of Laughter. I see Scooter Bud. I see Shanta, Tommy. I see Nancy. I see Gene, Jeff. What up, what up, what up? Bud Soda in the house. I see Josh. What up, Rodney? I can't even say what that. Ham? I don't know what that means. Fritz Morris. What up, man? What up, Fritz? Shout out to Fritz. He's got a channel. Go check him out. I see Daniel, the Driven Mom. What up, Lisa? Lisa will be moderating and facilitating and running that whole segment of the live for next the virtual conference. We have a Ladies in the Gig Economy segment, which will be live next week. She got 5 fantastic guests. This live is going to be like no other live. It's going to be very unique. Nobody's ever done anything in this space. I'm going to continue to push the needle, collaborate with good people, intelligent people, people that are smarter than me, people that can offer value to you, so that in hopes that we can learn, we can be entertained, we can inspire, we can motivate, we can share stories, right? We could chop it up, talk about things. And I hope other content creators do similar things and do it better than me. Because right now I see a lot of really bad content and bad lives and a lot of drama. We need to keep focused, and we need to really challenge each other as content creators and stop all this back and forth. We could challenge each other and talk about topics, but there's a lot of really bad stuff. So I try to link up with good people that we could challenge each other to continue to make better content and good content and things that is really good and positive mostly. Okay. Rodney, what up, what up? All right. So listen, I think I got animals in. Rodney, Dasher Poppy, what up? Jose, what up? Laura, what up? What up? April Bean, I see a lot of familiar faces in here. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, I think it is too. Let me put this comment up real quick, because our special guest, Steve, Rideshare Rodeo, is going to come on at 9:30. Okay, and then we're going to talk about the proposal by the Labor Department, and then we'll get into some other topics. But let's read this from the Driven Mom. I think it is definitely disrespectful to deliver an empty cup. Sometimes we got to suck it up and fill the drinks. Amen. If you don't want to do that, don't accept those types of orders. Absolutely. It's the same thought process. If you don't want to do a $2 or $3 order, if that makes you mad, you don't accept it. But when you as a driver accept an order from a Wingstop and you know they might ask you to do a drink, or if they ask you to do it, if you don't have the good people skills to facilitate and just look at them and say, hey, I could really get in trouble for that. Do you mind making this for me? Because it's not part of my TOS guidelines with DoorDash. I'd hate to be in trouble. I'm not certified. Do you mind making this for me? I know you guys are really busy, but could you do that for me, please, so I could deliver this order? I'm sure somebody in that establishment, if you do that, is going to make that Dr. Pepper for you. But if you want to act like a clown, you're going to get treated like a clown, right? So, and don't take $2 and $3 orders if you don't like delivering those kind of stuff. You don't take it and then disrespect the customer. I'll disrespect those people all day and call them clowns, but I'm not delivering to them. Does that make sense? Somebody else can do it. I'm not going to give them my energy in that particular way, right? You can't take something and then be mad when, you get clowned. Like, it doesn't work like that. 2 clowns don't make it right. You know what I'm saying? Only so many clowns can fit in these bozo cars we're driving. All right. So we gotta do better. Okay. All right. So, what up, Matt? What up, Matt? All right. I see Bud Soto, your mom. Gene, thank you very much for $4.99. Appreciate all y'all. Juice's Ghost. What up? What up? Delivering with Ellen. How are you? Super excited about next Saturday. Thank you so much for linking up with Lisa, the Driven Mom. What up, Life Choices and Changes? What up? What up? Is that Gig Lebowski? What up, Gig Lebowski? What up? All right. So, anyways, we're gonna have a good. What up, Glenn? I see Driven for dinner. Sheila. What up? What up? If I missed some people, my apologies. Appreciate y'all. Consider hitting the thumbs up. It's going to be a juicy topics tonight. So, as a lot of you guys might have known, we've seen some videos from myself, some other good content creators have spoken about this. Joe Biden and the Labor Department have proposed. Nothing has happened yet. They're proposing to reclassify 1099 independent contractors. You fall into that because for tax purposes, we're 1099. They want to reclassify us as employees. Now, I'm slightly ignorant on this subject. Okay, I'll just say I'm ignorant. I didn't read 180 whatever pages. I haven't done all that yet. I might at some point, I don't know. But basically, the states and the government are not getting all the tax dollars from a good percentage of 1099 independent contractors, right? So just think about it like this. You don't have to answer it now. Do you pay quarterly taxes? Did you pay your taxes last year as a DoorDash driver? Do you think that a lot of painters, plumbers, whatever, 1099, are they always paying their taxes on time in the right way? Maybe not. The government knows they're not. A lot of us specifically in the gig economy delivering or rideshare aren't. We're working under the table a little bit sometimes, maybe. They want, and they also, I think, realize these companies are taking advantage of some drivers, right? A lot of us would say we're not really independent because we're just employees without benefits. We're not getting benefits. Now there are benefit options with DoorDash and Uber. You can have medical insurance and things like that. You're going to pay for it. I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't have that with them. But you don't accrue PTO. There's no 401k. There's no profit sharing. There's no pay time off. There's no, vacation time. None of that. But we also have a lot of freedom and flexibility, or at least some would say. So we're going to talk about that. But the reclassification of an employee, if you became an employee tomorrow, let's just say it happened January 1st, and you had to schedule, you had to wear a hat and a t-shirt, which that to me isn't a big deal. But let's just say you got schedule, hat, t-shirt, you had to take everything. And they'd give you probably not giving everybody a company card. That's just not going to happen. But they give you a little gas credit or something like that. Every order's minimum. Every order's $5 to $10 based on mileage, but that's it. $5 for short runs, $10 for runs that are 8 miles or more. Let's just say they propose that, and you're an employee. Boom. If you miss time, if you do this, they can just let you go. Also, I think if we do become employees, half of us are done. Because if everybody has to take everything, they're not going to need as many of us. And they're also going to have to figure out how to cut down on that labor cost, because they're going to accrue a lot more cost for themselves as a business. They're going to get rid of a whole bunch of us. So is that good or bad? Good for the ones that stay on, maybe, depending on your market, depending on how you move, what you make, what your goals are in life, how you like to move and work, right? I think a lot of drivers want to be employees. I do believe that. I do believe it. We've seen other states do things similar, but not quite like this. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Let me stay in the chat with you guys for a little bit. I know I look a hot mess. It's been a long day. Oh, your boys had a long day. But let's talk about the week. The week's been pretty good. Made good money. Real good money. Did really well on Friday. I didn't work a lot this week. I don't work the weekends. Friday could have been a $500 day if I would have started, let's say, an hour earlier than I did. I started at about 9:45. If I would have worked 12 hours on Friday, I would have made $500. That's how good it was with Rideshare, and I did a little bit of DoorDash. So I feel really grateful for the apps in that way, because sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days. But at the end of the day, you just got to do what you got to do. But this week for me was pretty good. Had a good work-life balance, spent time with the family, working on this virtual conference, collaborating with some great people on that, figuring things out, making sure we offer you guys a valuable live stream. But overall, I would say it was a really positive week. Watched a little football today, had Ruby, went over to my dad's, had a family event, a little bonfire, a little barbecue, yada, yada, yada. It was a really good day. Hope you guys had a good day as well. So for now, I'm going to, we have Steve scheduled to come on at about 9:30. So for the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to stay in the chat with you guys a little bit. We'll also talk about that, the cup stuff. Let me know in the chat. Do you guys fill drinks? Do you fill a drink? If you're handed a drink and they say, oh, it's a Pepsi, or you see it's a Pepsi, do you walk and fill it up? It literally takes 10 seconds. Or do you say, nope, I'm not doing it. Here you go. And then you leave? Or do you say, well, I'm not making a drink. You take the bag and an empty cup and deliver it. Those are the three scenarios, right? I guess the fourth one would be talking to somebody there, speaking to a manager real quick. Hey, I can't do this for this reason. I don't feel comfortable. Do you mind making it? No, you guys are busy. So those are the four scenarios. Which do you guys do? Let me see. Laura says, yes, I fill drinks. Yes, I fill drinks. Giglebowski says, if it'll move the order along, yes. Yeah, absolutely, Giglebowski. I think there's a little bit of gray area, right? Because I've unassigned an order because a girl was kind of rude to me. Maybe I was being petty. Y'all know me, right? I'm a little prideful, a little petty sometimes. She was being rude, They weren't busy. And she's like, "Oh, you got to make these drinks." And I was like, hold up. I'm not doing that. I think that's what I said. And it was my last order of the night. I was like, I'm just not doing it. And I left and I unsigned it. But every other time I've made a drink, I think the most I've made on one order was 2 or maybe 3. Firehouse Subs, Subway, Wingstop, Panera. Those are some of the ones that have asked me to, and I do it. If the restaurant's busy and I see they're hustling, my response to them, out of respect for them and the customer that the order that I accepted, is, I got no problem. Thank you. I know you guys are busy. I hope your day goes better. And you make the damn soda. You don't put your hand in there. You don't do this, and you wash your hands if you need. You do what you got to do. It's very simple. I think some of our ego and pride get in the way, but I also realize, technically speaking, we're not supposed to prepare food. I get it. Maybe you're not ServSafe certified. You don't feel comfortable. You don't want the liability if that person gets sick. I completely get it. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Y'all know me. I've worked in a restaurant 18 years. 18 years. And if you're worried about getting somebody sick, regardless if I make it, because, or the other person making it, if they're going to get sick, they're going to get sick because the mold and everything, the bacteria is coming down from that ice chute or in the actual soda nozzle itself if it's not clean. Let's not overcomplicate this. We're not sticking our hands. We're not coughing into cups. We touch bags with that same hand. The customer touches the bag where we touched the bag. So if your hand's dirty, they're gonna get your germs regardless. So I don't want to hear that. Like that to me just doesn't make a lot of logical sense. But we can come on later in the show. We can talk about that. Sorry, I'm on one tonight. I got a lot of energy. It's been a good week. I've been waiting to do this Sunday live. Yeah, I just, but I do realize that some people don't like to do that. I get it. I had a guy in the comments saying, hey, you could get sued, and these things could be true. My response was, can you send me one story of somebody being sued for making? I get it though. I'm not lost on that. But I'm telling you guys, it literally takes 5 to 10 seconds to make a soda, man. It really does. And if I make it, or the girl makes it that works there, or the manager, or whoever, the hostess, we got to calm down with the get somebody sick. Like, come on. Remember this. The same hand that's making that is touching the bag, and some of these bags aren't even sealed. It's going in a car that has way more germs and bacteria in it. I would challenge some about how clean is your car. Mine's pretty clean. It's not super shiny clean. So we have to, your bag, how often do you guys clean out your hot bag? You sanitize it every week? I bet most of you don't. I bet some of you do. Right? I'm just saying, we got to stop overcomplicating making a soda. And I stand by what I said about that driver that delivered an empty cup. I think he should be deactivated. I don't think that driver should be working and representing you and I. I think that driver's a clown. I know I use harsh words. That's what I believe. We can talk about that tonight. Okay, let's read this one. Like, I think basically my point was, if evidence of witness puts you in a place of making the drink from that nasty dispenser, you're liable. I guess that's true. I guess it is. That is a really good argument. It really is. But somebody that worked in a restaurant for 18 years, when somebody gets sick, there are a lot of things. If somebody gets really ill, the health department will look into, whether it's line checks, video cameras. So Bud Soda's on to something there. But if they're watching that camera and they see you make the drink, they're also going to see when was the last time that soda machine was cleaned? Was there temperature, safety control checks, like line checks? Like, there's a lot more things. And I, as a driver, I'm not worried about being held liable because there's so many other steps involved. And I just want you guys to trust me a little bit because I've worked in restaurants. And anybody else that can work in restaurants can vouch or share their opinion. What up, Dash and Trader? What up, man? Listen. So this is just a shout out to all the content creators out there. Sorry, I know I'm missing a lot of comments, but I'm just, I'm a little amped tonight. Appreciate everybody for being in here. Shout out to any content creator out there. I've collabed and worked with and talked to a lot of people on the side. I share my phone number. If anybody has questions on things on YouTube, you want to chop it up, you want to just ask questions about how I deal with certain things on YouTube or this or that, please reach out to me. Dash and Trader can vouch for that. I would love to talk to any and anybody about content creation, the ups, the downs, the pros, the cons, building a channel. If you're interested, you can definitely reach me on my email. So So here we go. We got this one here. Las Vegas Life. You need a health card to prepare food for the public. Yes, I know in Vegas you definitely do. In Nevada, I know that. And in my market in St. Louis, if you work at an establishment, you have to be ServSafe certified. Various other things. Maybe you need a hepatitis shot, depending on the county. So check your local state, city law regulations and see where you stand with that. I know with DoorDash, at least right now in St. Louis and most cities, you're not required for that. That's not required, but that doesn't mean it might not be coming. So let's see what we got here. DoorDash needs to school the restaurants. Their people need to make. Yeah, Gene, you're not wrong. But DoorDash has a lot of other problems to deal with. And it doesn't mean that Wingstop that gives the cups out, it doesn't mean they haven't maybe had an email sent to them or, but in the moment when these places are busy or they got a new staff member or they have a bad staff member, those things don't matter. These places are short staffed. My viewpoint might be different because I've been in the restaurant business. So plus one more thing, we know some of these orders sit there for a while. So why make us Dr. Pepper when you don't know when that driver's coming? Sometimes it's going to get watered down. So you're giving a customer an inferior product. You're giving them a bad experience. So why not make that soda? Me make it or they make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we have to just understand, even the logistics, the way some of these restaurants are set up. You got a girl at Wingstop answering the phone, bagging orders, bagging, cooking wings, doing this, doing that. She's got the phone going off. She's got the POS. She's got the DoorDash tablet. She's got walk-in customers. Take the cup from her, walk 2 feet, make the soda, put the lid on it, and walk out of the restaurant. Sometimes we got to put our ego and our pride to the side, and we have to do what's best for the consumer and what's best for you in that point. And the liability thing, I just don't get it. But I'm willing to hear people's opinions on it. So if there's a lawyer in here, somebody that knows about that kind of law, would love to have you come on the StreamYard. So I'm going to share. What's this one say? Pedro, why does DoorDash? What does this mean? Why does DoorDash need nearby device permission on my phone? I don't know, BizPhone. I haven't seen that. If anybody has a better answer than I can provide, let us know in the chat. Shout out to the 215. Hit the thumbs up, boys and girls. We're going to have a good show tonight. So let me go ahead and see if our guest is about ready. I'm going to go ahead and share the live stream link as well with you guys. I'm going to pin the comment up at the top. If you're just not coming in, we're going to talk about the proposal by the Labor Department and the Joe Biden administration to reclassify 1099 independent contractors as employees. And we're going to talk about, do you fill soda cups? If you are asked by a Wingstop to make a drink, do you fill it? Do you unassign and refuse? Do you try to talk to the staff there and say, hey, can you really do this for me? Because, or do you deliver an empty cup like a miserable clown driver? And I would love to talk to that guy or woman that did that. I would love to just look at him in the eyes and say, what were you thinking? Did you have a bad day? Why would you do something like that? I would really love it. If somebody could track that person down. I don't know. Okay. So let me go ahead and pin this stream for you guys. 1 second. As we wait on our guest arrival for our first topic of the evening. Okay, we got that there. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and pin this as well. So if you want to come in and be a part of the show this evening, pin message. It will be at the top of the live chat, the pin comment for the StreamYard link. Any and all are welcome. I know I am a ranty, opinionated dude sometimes, but all opinions are welcome here. I don't overtalk people. We don't yell and scream here. Your voice can be heard if you have a different opinion than I do. And we can talk about it respectfully because we're all men and adults here. So I'll pin that. I will have our guest come on first. We're going to talk about this proposal, and then we'll get into that soda stuff and the gig conference and various other things. I do also want to say this. If there's anybody out there that wants to talk about whatever else later in this, after we're done with our topics on the live, like every week, the StreamYard link is always open. Any and all are welcome. The water feels good. I don't bite. Jump in the pool and let's go swimming. All right. Okay. So I think I can read the chat here a little bit quicker. America has an issue. This is from Hector. America has an issue when we were talking about feeling. I know, man. And well, I'm part of the problem, though, Hector. I can admit that because I'm the one bringing up the conversation, right? But you're right. First world problems. You're not wrong, Hector. That's probably the comment of the night to this point. I'll make a sandwich if it cuts down on the way. I'm not making food. But some would say, well, a soda is food. And technically, it is you consume it. It is food. But it's different than making a sandwich. It is. And anybody that's worked at a restaurant knows that, right? But I hear what you're saying. Eric says the merchant is responsible for keeping their freaking soda machine clean. It is in their premises. They are responsible. They give the cup to the customer, buying the food in the storage themselves. Yes. And there are some places that don't even allow to-go beverage to be purchased. So, all right, we have our guest, Rideshare Rodeo Steve, on right now. I'm going to bring him in one moment, and we're going to get into this topic. Now, this is somebody that's a lot more skilled, knowledgeable about this. That's why I asked him, hey, would you like to come on and talk for 20, 30 minutes about this? I just want to pick your brain, and you guys could hear his perspective. He's been in the independent contractor business longer than I have. I've been doing this for, I guess, almost 2 years, right? 2 years? 2 years. So not that long, okay, in the grand scheme of things. But I do love it. We're able to do okay here. But I want to get his perspective. So I'm going to bring him up in just a moment. Let me get the headset ready. If you guys have questions, please ask them, and we could see if between him and I, we could try to catch some good ones here and there. But I want to just ask his opinion on it and just have an organic conversation about what he thinks about what's going on. Because I think this could obviously affect a lot of people, right? I think we're going to have our ears and our eyes open and to listening and seeing what transpires with this proposal. Okay. So let's go ahead and Steve, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. You can hear me good?
Yep. We're good.
Okay, so let me go ahead and put up this banner real quick. Proposal to reclassify as an employee, man. So I know how you feel, but some of my viewers might not know. So first off, give us a little, I know you've been on the show a couple of times, but give us a little bit of a background. How long you've been doing 1099 work, and what do you know about this proposal?
Okay. I've been doing 1099 work since 1997. So traditional, what is considered the traditional independent contractor. So I was around when the gig economy emerged, and it actually helped blend traditional work, because if I had downtimes in between, by the way, for those that wonder, I do production. So if I'm gone on the road, I might be home for 2-3 weeks. I don't like being bored for a day, so more than less 2-3 weeks. So the gig economy was a godsend because it was awesome. It's like I could come home, because we all know no matter how you look at this, there's no way that there's no job in the world. I'm not even talking flex time, that you could just go, I need to go on the road for 7 weeks, and then I'll be back for 4, and then I'm going to be gone for 5.
It's extremely rare.
But so, yeah, the way I broke this apart into, into kind of 2 parts, because I think there's a little preface to what Biden put out this week that we need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just keep it to the bullet points. I've kept it pretty short. You guys, this all comes from a 184-page document. So, but the bullet points, I've got them down pretty good. But what I want to ask before we even touch into the very few bullet points there will be is, so the question, was Prop, and we're only going to talk about this in the very beginning, but I found it very important. Was Prop 22 for California a win for the gig companies? I'm asking anybody in the chat. I'm not even watching chat, by the way.
I'm watching it, but that is.
But I want to know if anybody knows. I mean, was it good? Because they spent $208 million to get it, as opposed to the other alternative and not being carved out of AB5. But I just want to know because they have to do, for Prop 22, they have to do what? They have to do partial medical stipend, 120% of minimum wage, and allow full flexibility on the apps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pointing this out because good for the IRS. Yeah, actually, taxes are affected, that, this, that, the other. I'm going to just tell you, because I've found this week that I'm very surprised that a lot of people don't know. So what the Flex
Let me ask you a question. Do you think, before you go, because now that you asked that question to the chat and some people are answering, do you think that there are a good amount of drivers that are in California that enjoy Prop 22 and see some actual benefits from it on a daily basis? Do you think that there are some that would say that they like it?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, dude, if Prop 22 is everywhere, let's put it this way: if Prop 22 was everywhere, I mean, I was talking to even Tony, and Tony sees eye to eye with me on this stuff. And it's, if it was ever in every state right now, none of us are going to return that money. It comes in your check or in your pay. I mean, you're not going to call Uber and say, you know what, I don't want the Prop 22 money. Here you go. And if there's anybody in this chat that says they would do that, I'm going to actually call their bluff.
Yeah, I mean, come on, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, money is money. Yeah,
all the companies would be out of business because we can barely support what's going on in California. But here's the problem. So the Flex Association, which is Uber, Lyft, Instacart, DoorDash, Grubhub, they spent $208 million to get Prop 22 on a ballot that then was voted on and won by 3 million votes. People don't like voting with big oil or tech giants and things like that, but they did this anyway. And here's if anybody ever wonders, like, well, why'd they even do that? What's the benefit? That's almost as bad as employee model. Well, here's the benefit. In that proposition, the deal was it denies the right to collectively bargain or unionize. So by having Prop 22, they can't even, because we all know how close they were to unionizing and trying. So that was like what they had to give up was their primary part of the fight. We won't unionize. I'm mentioning this because as of last week, a new movement has started in California. It's 30,000 gig workers strong already that are fighting for unions because Prop 22 isn't enough. I don't know how else to say this. I know that if the California listeners, I know you're not lawmakers. I know you didn't have to do with this, but honestly, if the agreement was you're going to get all this stuff, but you can't unionize, and now they're like, well, we're going to keep that and we want union. I mean,
you can't have. I mean, we can't. We have
that's
to also.
A deal,
Yeah, we can't have every single thing. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to understand. Well, you want all these things, but then you also want to be independent. Which is it? You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of where I feel sometimes. It's like we want freedom, we want flexibility, we want to be able to not work for a week or two because you got a road show. You want to be able to take your kids on vacation. You homeschool your kids like the driven mom does. Like there's a lot of reasons we do this type of work because we like that flexibility. It's great. Listen, y'all, I'm lazy at this point in my life. And I built some things. I don't work the nights and I don't work weekends. It's my family time because I did it so long for the restaurant industry, right? So I enjoy that flexibility. So we got to understand, like, if we're expecting or want so much from the company and we get something, then we want more. Like, I get it. These companies do a lot of shady things, but like we have to understand the reality that we're living in, and we can't expect every single thing to go like 100% our way and get everything, because then these apps, there won't be any apps, and then we won't have opportunity. And I know that some people might not agree with that, and I understand that that's cool. Everybody has different perspective, but like it's crazy that we got the Prop 22 now, but we also want to be union now, and so us delivery drivers out here, we can't all make $50 an hour. Like there's not enough money for everybody to do that. There's only enough. We can't keep printing money. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
well, and this is the kicker to me. So since AB 5 went into effect, since Prop 22 got the carve out, and I'm not even going to touch on all the people that lost, the traditional independent contractors who lost their livelihoods, 6-figure earners, 25, 30 years, can't work in California anymore. So I'm not even going to go there right now. But where I find this very interesting is that Washington State, Massachusetts State, and 2 other states potentially, but Washington and Massachusetts, both in January 2023, will take on AB 5 legislation. Massachusetts is no longer allowing even a vote on a Prop 22 type thing, so they will instantly go to union. Washington State, they're probably not going to allow it either. But there's other states looking at this now. The huge difference here, though, is everybody was going out to California to see, hey, is this Prop 22 thing working? And they're like, yeah, the gig economy, people seem happy. They're getting flex time. Okay, well, every one of the states that's proposing all this stuff and that is going to be pushing hard, and I'm telling you, there's about 10 others behind them. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, there's a bunch, you guys.
Yeah, it's coming.
But these are the ones that are going next year. And the huge difference here is that they've been talking about, like, they've been selling it in their own states as like, well, there's AB5 and here's how they dealt with Prop 22. Okay, well, in every one of these, there will be they are pushing for employment model, collective bargaining and unionization, that the opposite of Prop 22. They're not going to allow it. Right. So the giants, unions, W-2 franchise model shifts, taking all orders. These are going to be things you're going to have to do. But the worst of it all is, like you were saying earlier, I was listening, and like you were saying earlier, who's going to want to be an employee of DoorDash? Because you're multi-apping, done, because you got to pick one. Yep. And then the other thing is, most likely it's going to be a franchise model. And if that kind of thing happens, we all know what that is. The city gets divided up into franchises. Again, it's not going to be California. You're not going to be able to turn on the app at any time. And actually, when you do turn it on, you're probably going to find out you didn't get fired, but you probably are going to find out you don't have a job with DoorDash.
Yes. Yeah, I think there'd be, and this isn't to scare you guys. Like, we're just having a conversation as far as what was proposed, but I think this is inevitable that they would have to, we wouldn't need as many drivers. But then also, I think there would be a lot of drivers that would be like, I'm not doing this anymore, right? So then maybe there'd be just some self-deactivations, which maybe it's good for the ones that stay. I don't know, because we're not there yet. But Steve, let me ask you a question. With this proposal, because I'm not sure, I didn't read it, right? I looked at some bullet points, but is this proposal to where the states could have their own kind of thing, or would it be every state would have to? It's a proposal where it's like federal. You know what I'm saying?
So this is where Biden's part comes in. So if we all remember, Biden, and I know everybody hates it when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, that this isn't political. It is political, but I'm not on a political side here. I'm just telling you guys.
It can be political without being, we're not talking politics, but it is political.
Right. I'm just going to state some facts. And two of Biden's biggest objectives coming into office were the Green New Deal and the PRO Act. And the PRO Act came really close, you guys. And that was even going to break all the right to work states, everything. It was going to federalize all the states. And it's it should be no surprise to anybody. Biden, his whole career, 40 years in the Senate and whatnot, he's pushed for unions his whole life. But this is like, I think I can't believe the PRO Act didn't go through either. I'm upset. We need to make this go through. And it actually is in a way that, so what has happened is he's trying to change a rule here. And here's the bullet points. It actually goes pretty quick. So on Tuesday, he wrote the proposal. On Thursday, the proposal was turned in, which starts a 45-day process to be able to write in and to be able to say you oppose it, you like it, whatever. Supposedly, they take that into account, but my guess is maybe they get it to the correct legislators and whatnot. But it is a government website that you do this on. But here's the thing. This is the process. It will take a couple weeks, maybe months, most likely, to get off the ground. After that, it becomes open to litigation from the opposition, which is the Flex Association. Right. So they'll be able to, that's kind of like a mediation. Like, can we find a middle ground? They're not going to be able to. That's
because the companies will fight this, right? That's what I mean. They're gonna fight this, and I know you say weeks or months. I even think I would imagine.
Well, no, this
longer
is
than that.
Weeks, months. Because Biden's rule change proposal is in legally now. So once it gets off the ground, then it becomes open to litigation. Can we work it out between us without spending millions and millions of wasted dollars? And then that won't happen either. So what happens is once the rule is announced, it will certainly be challenged in court, like you were saying. Judicial proceedings on a rule change normally, history just tells us the average is 1 to 2 years. I could see this going for 3, 4, 5 because you've got Uber, Lyft, Instacart, DoorDash, Grub. You've got them all together.
Well, let me ask you a question. So if it takes that long, Biden at that point is not president. So is this proposal then still even a possibility? Do you know how does that work? You know what I'm saying? Like if a president or like that particular cabinet leaves,
I mean,
does that proposal stay on the books?
He's proposing to change a rule right now.
Okay.
But another president could do that. But with as much hype has been put behind this, it really would depend on how the midterms go, really.
Right.
You know, I mean, but basically judicial proceedings, maybe not even, maybe it's just going to take 2 or 3. And that's what it is. At that point, they could even appeal and whatnot. And so it starts to feel like maybe this isn't so bad. So here's what the deal. The proposal is limited only to employment policies that the labor board enforces. And the labor board is federal. So the only thing that they can really touch is federal minimum wage, which is like just under $8.
Yeah.
And so that's all they can play a role in. So again, it becomes like, well, how bad is this Biden proposal if that's it? So the IRS and state governments, as we know, are independent of the federal government. So each state will be able to choose how they want to go. The IRS will. Here's the thing, though, and I found this the most important part of the 184 pages is that most likely over time, most states will adjust to be aligned with the proposal meaning Biden's rule change, mainly because judges, legislators, and administrative bodies will need to interpret employment law, even on a state level, somewhat aligned with the federal. They can't. Everybody just can't be like all over the
all over the place. Yeah.
I mean, you can have differences in your state, but you can't be like running different countries style. And it's so the bottom line is that, you know, it will take more than this to make it so that we feel this pinch. But this was like, if you had to put it in like 3 pieces, this is a huge first piece. And the midterms are very, like, I was going to say to everybody, make sure you vote in the midterms. And I even challenge this. I am an independent. I'm truly an independent, like to the point I'm registered an independent, so I don't get to vote in primaries. That's the one. If anybody ever wondered what that means,
I didn't know. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and because I care a lot about politics, that's something that it kind of sucks to give up. But at the same time, when you do go to vote, make sure that you know where the candidates stand. And this time around, if like you work full-time gig work, try and put unless you just have too crazy of a politician, but try and take the 2 candidates that have the best chances, look at their stance on gig work, and everybody's website has one.
Because that's what's going to impact you, right? Like, it's not always the hot topics. It's like the stuff that impacts you every day. Yeah.
Right. And if this is your living, this is one of the most important midterms to make sure you're voiced in. So I've had to do this in my life, but like you might have to bite the bullet and vote for somebody you didn't think you were going to vote for. That's just my opinion. I mean, vote for whoever. I would rather you go out and vote and vote for people I don't want than not to vote. I think everybody should vote. It's important. But I think that you can easily find out where the candidates in your state stand. And it's important because you might be planning on voting for somebody who might be planning on destroying the gig economy. And it might be worth maybe like some of the other platform pieces, but it might be worth a second look.
I think, let me ask you a question. So do you think this is something that drivers should worry about in the next year, let's just say, right? Because a lot of us that do this work, we're doing it part-time. Most of us maybe we're not looking a year from now, but do you think, like, as it stands now, a year from now, do you think this is something that we should worry about?
I think it could become something that, not that it's going to be enacted and enforced to such a level, but I think it's something that just like Prop 22, I think it's something that now the ball has started rolling, the court cases are going to start. The money is going to start getting dished out, $208 million per state kind of thing to fight these things. And I think that we, the gig workers, will pay for that. I don't think they're going to do it as a punishment. I don't think they're going to say, hey, we're getting sued, so you guys are going to get
No, but
screwed in
things
this.
will
But
be, they can
they're
lower
just not
base
going to have a
pay. Yeah,
choice.
they can lower base pay by 50 cents, or they could do this, or they could not have as many promotions or peak pays or benefits and this or that. Like, there's a lot of things they could do. They could manipulate offers. Like, there's things they could do to recoup the 200 million or whatever that price tag is, because businesses don't just shell out money without figuring out and budgeting a way to get that back. Like that just
Like,
doesn't.
yeah.
It just doesn't happen in
In
today's
in
society.
in and I know that we all know Uber, Lyft, all these people have 300-400 each attorneys on retainer. But you know what? The bottom line is, come January of 2023, some states are already moving to some really sad models. And to be honest, I honestly believe that, in slowly into the new year, and it might not be huge amounts at first, but we're going to start to see pay. I hate to say it, pay decrease.
Yeah. Oh, I think I'm surprised we didn't see something this summer, because the summer's pretty much over. I mean, it is over, but yeah, it's because historically that's what's happened, and that's why we have to continue to adapt. And we talk about this. You got to adapt. You got to be able to find a different app, a different way, build, because these apps aren't going to get, for some of us that are new and we don't know any different. If you're just coming in, you're feeling good, the app's treating you well, but eventually if you're living just day to day or week to week, you might get caught by surprise, because the apps do tend to, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about Spark right now. They're changing some things with Spark. Base pay got lower a little bit. They're noticing differences. Whereas 3 months ago, Spark was the hottest app. Everybody loved it, right? So about 6 months from now, Spark will be different. And that's just how these apps work. And we have to understand that, right? And I also think, though, that's why some people are like, oh, I want to be an employee. I think these apps are treating us bad. We're misclassified. I want benefits. So I do think there are a large portion of people, a good percentage, that are like, I want that. I want that. I want that. Like, give me that, because I get stability. I want to be an employee for whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. It's all, we all move differently. We want to make different money. We have different situations, but that's why I love gig work, is because we are different. We can turn on the app when we want. Like, if I needed to make $100 right now,
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yep.
And if I had a W-2, which most people do, right? I did it for 18 years, right? If I had a W-2, unless they're paying overtime, I can't go make that extra 100 that I need. But with the gig economy, and especially these apps, you can do that. So I think that's really a big benefit, and we might lose that. I know a lot of you guys work. Bud Soda's in here. Bud Soda works 80 hours a week. Okay, right? If he becomes an employee, he ain't gonna be able to work 80 hours a week. So he's gonna be like making less money, right? And now Bud Soda's the exception. There's not a lot of those. He's in the 1%, is what I call. But I think of Mr. Flex. He works 70 hours a week. Mr. Flex, they're not gonna pay you overtime, right? They're not gonna do that,
No.
right? So Mr. Flex is gonna be making half the amount.
In
If he
fact,
becomes an
we all
employee.
know how that works. You're going to get cut
Yeah.
at 38 hours or whatever leaves you under
Ex-
getting near overtime even.
Right.
But
right.
again, that goes to, in a franchise model, we broke this down. Approximately 15 to 20% of the drivers are going to be needed. So
Yeah.
4 out of 5 of you won't be able to work. I don't know. Here's my big question to you, though, I guess, then is, how many people that you think want to be employees are looking at Prop 22 and going, I want that, because that is 100% not what it's going to be.
Yeah, I think it could be a good amount, because I do think that we do see a large number of people, at least people that come to my channel. There's a few in here, Manuel Sanchez and a few others. And I know a few other drivers personally that are in Cali, and they're like, hey, they like it. There's some guaranteed earnings there. And I'm not mad at them for liking me. Hey, it works for you, man. It's great. Take those benefits. If it works, awesome. I'm happy that you have it. If it's working for you, it's all good, right? But this isn't that. So I do
and
think,
we're all paying for it a little bit already for California.
Sure.
We're supplementing California. We're now going to be supplementing Washington, Massachusetts.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna, you guys. I mean, and again, I'm not playing to the side of the Giants, but they're, honestly, yes, they need to make money, and they're trying to do it in a way. And I know often we don't like the ways they do it.
Yeah,
But it's
we
the way
don't.
they
Yeah.
do it, man. They
Yeah, it's
oversaturate,
tough.
and they've gotten, really bad about some of the ways they do things. And
Yeah.
there are changes needed. However, I mean, you can anywhere you look, worldwide, the gig economy is not going anywhere.
No, it's not. And I think it is weird because it's ironic, I guess is a better word, because I'll just speak from my own personal experience. I have a YouTube channel. I come on and complain a couple times a week. This sucks. You have a laugh, you get over it, you go home, you kiss your baby, and you go to sleep, right? So like, yeah, I complain about what they do, but then I also realize like, okay, that's kind of part of it. Is it because if it was that bad, I wouldn't work for DoorDash or with DoorDash. If I felt that impassioned about the business practices, I wouldn't have worked at the casino I worked at,
Yeah.
because they have shit casinos. Come on, I could tell some stories, and then I wouldn't be peddling DoorDash McDonald's orders. But at the end of the day, it works for me on my time. I'm willing to kind of navigate and adapt. And I think that if it goes to us being reclassified as employees, it's going to be crazy. I talked to my stepmom. She's a real estate agent. I talked to I guess like kind of like my brother-in-law. He's a painter and he has a crew of some guys and they're all 1099. He runs the S Corp. It would totally change the landscape of how they make money and how they run their business. So this doesn't just affect delivery drivers. It could affect a lot of other subcategories of work in this country.
Yeah. I
You know?
mean, and that's the other thing that I wouldn't feel right not saying is that, again, if you're looking at Prop 22 and thinking that's what you're going to get, but here's the realistic side of it. If it's a franchise model, you're going to, you don't have a job. Now you got to go apply for it. And
Yep.
the franchisee has to believe that you're one of the few gig workers that isn't going to screw up,
Yep.
because he's not going to want to be having high churn rate like these apps, because that's unemployment on him now.
Mm-hmm.
And he could go under very quickly. So he's going to be very careful in his selection. And
Yep.
then clearly it's going to, I mean, I don't mean to say like, who knows what it would be, but clearly it would have to be some kind of blocks or scheduled shifts. And
You would
you'd be
imagine.
told
Yeah.
where to be.
Yeah.
And guess what? One thing, the one perk is we'd never see acceptance rate again, because we would all have 100%, or else
We'd
we'd
all
be
have
fired.
100%. Yeah, yeah. But and we would, yeah. But it would definitely change the landscape. I don't think it's not something that I think I'm going to be affected by based on the timeline. I don't think, but I think some of us might be. We'll see. I think it's something to keep our pulse on, keep our eyes and our ears open to see what happens. Staying informed, being knowledgeable about what's happening around you, I think is important, guys. That's why I wanted to talk about this and bring Steve on, because he's super educated about it. And I know, I watched Steve's channel. He's talked about, Prop 22. Is it AB5? That's another one out there. Like Steve knows what he's talking about, and he's in the circles of people that deal with this stuff on a daily basis. So I thought he was a really good person to have on. So, Steve, hey, I appreciate you. I got a lot of people waiting. I'm going to bring some people in and kind of continue this conversation. Let me ask you one final question. I know you've been doing independent contracting since 1997, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see yourself continuing to do what you do? I know you work the apps. You got like Rodeo and Curry. I know like a lot of your big ones there. And then you do the laser production stuff. Like that's where you want to be, right? That's what you still see yourself doing, right?
I like to
Or
have
is it something else? I don't know.
my hand in as many cookie jars as I can, man.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I work for a laser company based out of Miami, and the sister company to it is a pyrotechnics company in Vegas. And I've even sat in for them, only from meeting them from working at another show with them. So like I just like to have people say keep all your options open. I like to create millions of options.
Listen, amen to that, man. And I think I'm glad you said it, because that's kind of where I'm at least. Like I want to create opportunities for myself, but then also other people. That's what I'm trying to do, because I realize that for me, success is like trying to create an opportunity for somebody else, even it maybe employing a few people, like, and actually trying to build something of my own that I could be proud of. That's kind of where, what I'm leaning towards. And that's why I like the gig work, because it allows me some freedom and flexibility. I know we throw that word around, but that's a real thing, and for guys like us that works in the restaurant industry, manage the bars, like it can be tiring doing that. It's hard to work in that kind of industry and then also work on things for yourself. So that's why I promote these apps in a positive way overall, because if you have that kind of mindset, this is a good kind of work that you can do to kind of build something for yourself if that interests you, But Steve, hey, appreciate you, man. I can't wait for next Saturday.
Me neither.
Guys, go check out Rideshare Rodeo. I know we had some for all the moderators in here. Please put in the link to Steve's channel so you guys can go check that out. And I guess I'll talk to you again tomorrow. We got something else going on, so
Right.
I'll be looking forward to that, man. Appreciate you coming on, brother.
Of course, anytime.
Thanks, man. Thank you. All right, so I see a lot of people waiting now. I'm going to get to each and every one of y'all. Appreciate y'all. Hit the thumbs up for my man Steve for coming in, dropping some gems on us, dropping his perspective. Now, I know some of the people that are waiting might want to talk about that topic. We can also talk about, do you fill drinks? We can get into that as well. But I do want to keep it on those two topics. So if you're coming into the StreamYard, or if you're waiting backstage right now and you want to talk about something else, this show will not be for you yet. You can come back later because I'll have some other things we got going on. But if you want to get into those particular topics, being reclassified as an employee, what are your thoughts on that? Do you fill drinks at merchants? That's what we're going to get into right now. So what I'm going to do is we have 9 people waiting. Okay. I don't want to bring everybody in at once. So I'm going to bring in the first 4 that I have that came in. And then we're going to talk for a little bit, 15, 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more. And then I'll bring in the next 4. I think that's fair, right? Or next 4 or 5. So before I do that, let's stay in the chat and give some shout outs real quick. What up? Delivering with Carrie. I see Jason in the house. Music City Gig Hustler. I got you a wrench, bro. I'm Nefarious 86. I see you. The Driven Mom still in the house. James Lane, Hector. What up? What's Hector saying? Pedro, maybe I should get on it later and talk to people about how to get restaurants to give you catering. Yeah, we got to do that separately. We're going to do a whole little segment about that at some point, Hector. Don't worry. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this banner up. I'll put that there. Should drivers fill a drink cup? And we can also talk about what me and Steve just talked about as well. So I got Bud. And let me give the shout outs to who we have waiting in the green room. So you guys know that I see you. Bud Soda's here. Chris, Arizona. I see Drab. I see Mad Dash. I see Kathy. I see Tony. I see EL. I see The Matrix. And I see Driven for Dinner. Okay. So I see all of you guys. I'm trying to remember. I think I can kind of tell who came in when. So Bud Soda's been waiting the longest, followed by Chris, Arizona, followed by Dab. So what I'm going to do is, and then Mad Dash. I'm going to bring you 4 guys in, and then Kathy and the rest of you guys will be in after that. So just stay tuned. I'll get you guys going. Now, make sure you guys, if you're out, make sure you got the audio's good, whatever. If you don't want to show your face, that's good as well. Just make sure you guys are ready. Make sure there's no background noise. Let's get this topics going here. Let's see. So first, let's bring in my man, but it's been a little while. Oh, what up, man? It's been a little while since you've been on the show. Welcome back, man. Welcome back.
I was down and out for a whole week, and before that, I was on my workcation. Didn't do much work.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm going to bring Chris in. Chris, Arizona. Can you hear us? Chris, Arizona, are you there? Okay, I will remove Chris, Arizona. Let's see. We got Drab. Can you hear us?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Awesome. What's up? Yes, we can. Perfect. Let me bring in Mad Dash for Road Trip Cash. Mad Dash, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
What's up,
Yes, you guys have a little background, though. Make sure if you're watching YouTube, you have it muted or turned down, okay? And we also have one more spot. So I'm going to bring Kathy up as well since I couldn't get Chris, Arizona. So let me go ahead and bring in Kathy. Kathy, how are you? Can you hear us?
Good. Yeah, I can hear you.
What's up? All right. So, I think somebody dropped. Hold on one second. I think we lost somebody. I think we lost Dabs. Okay. So, Bud Soda, I'll start with you. Should drivers fill a drink cup?
I mean, unless you're in a very litigious area where it's been a problem, and maybe your health department's been all over your restaurants for having. I mean, we've all seen Bar Rescue and Kitchen Nightmares, I think, or shows like that where the ice bins and the drink dispensers are disgusting, like you were saying. We probably should. It's just common sense. I mean, use some hand sanitizer, wash your hands, do the common sense stuff. And it's really ridiculous to me that someone would deliver an empty drink cup. Just don't deliver it at all. In that case, say, hey, here's the reason I didn't do it. Just ask for a DoorDash refund because the restaurant didn't want to do it if you really feel principled about it. And in
Yeah.
my opinion, just decline those orders from then on once you find out if a restaurant's like that. I mean, like typically Wendy's, Wingstop, there's some others, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Let me. I got Drab back in. I'm gonna bring him back in 1 second. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Boop, boop.
Hey, so sorry about that. Yeah, I was having an echo. I had to fix that.
No problem. So, also, Bud Soda, let me ask you: when was the last time you went to a restaurant and they handed you a cup and they asked you to do it, and what did you do? Does it happen on a weekly basis, daily? Does it never happen?
Daily.
It happened to me actually the first time, not so long ago. But
okay, what about you, Bud Soda?
Daily. My Wendy's does it all the time. The Taco Bell has their drink cups up front. I'll do it volunteer because I'd rather them spend time prepping my order versus filling a stupid drink cup that takes a minute or two. Because that's actually time consuming for them. A minute or two for one cup, but times that by however many drinks they're supposed to fill.
Yeah. What about you, Mad Dash? What about you, Mad Dash? Do you make a drink for a customer? Yes or no?
That's a no-brainer. If it gets me out the door quicker, if I don't want to be waiting on a drink for my order to get out the door, that's a no-brainer. I fill the drink.
Kathy, what about you? Please say that you don't want to fill drinks and tell me why you don't. So, argue with me a little bit. Come on.
No, I've actually filled drinks for Wingstop and Taco Bell.
Okay. So. Okay. And Drab, you said that you just had that most recently for the first time. Is that right?
Yeah, I had it happen to me for the first time actually yesterday at Panera Bread, and I was actually totally cool with it. So.
Okay. So why are you cool with it? Why is it not an issue for you?
I don't know. They were personally slammed, and they already have to deal with DoorDash pickups as it is, a bunch of stuff. Just and I just think ever since gig work has been implemented into more of these restaurants, they just have a lot more stress on the workers. So I try to look at that and just be like, okay, I can fill a drink real quick, not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I hear you. So let me get to Bud Soda real quick. We're talking about being reclassified as an independent contractor. So somebody that works 1,000 hours a week, right? How would this affect you? What do you think about it? Do you want to be an employee? Like, where you stand with this proposal? Tell me about that.
I'd have to go back to 3 W-2s and doing side hustle work. There is no way that you could make this profitable, in my opinion. It would be nearly impossible unless so many people dropped out and then they said, oh, well, market demand says we have to pay you $20 an hour, then fine. But, otherwise, yeah, it's an impossibility. It's a desperation attempt because they know midterms are here and they're trying to rally the base. And the thing is, they're trying to circumnavigate, our checks and balances, for God's sakes, the Constitution. It's ridiculous that they're doing this. And it's not just us. It's independent contracting as a whole, guys. I mean, construction workers is one of the oldest independent contractors in the world. I mean, they built Rome, for God's sakes. So, I mean, a lot of federal work is done by independent contractors. So the fact that they're trying to do this is actually ridiculous and counterproductive toward them. They're just trying to make it look good for them and suck up to that 1% of 1%, I guess.
Well, I think it's
there's so many workers.
I think it's more than 1%. But
well, there's so many workers in Cali. Let's say the 30,000 that want to unionize in California. There's probably 3 million gig workers because there's so many people out there, and it's not very many of them that even want this. I really think it's less than you think.
No, I think it's definitely more than 1%. It's way more than 1%.
Here's the thing. Okay, let's go with your argument. A lot of people want the perks of a W-2, but don't want the strings that are attached to it. Mm-hmm. So basically, they want to be told what to do, get paid consistently, and get steady work. But they also want to work when they want, be able to decline what they want, and you can't have it both ways. Independent contracting comes with responsibility. And if you're foolish enough to take a bad bid, which in our case is a $2 order, then that's your problem. That's not anyone else's. That's not the company's fault. That's not even the bad customer's fault. That's your fault for taking that $2. Now, if you take a $6.50, because my hidden tip indicator, and it ends up being a no tip, oh well, it is what it is, and I get so many 5-star ratings that I can absorb that bad rating.
Let me ask Mad Dash. I know Mad Dash is a union electrician, right?
I am, man.
So
I'm for it.
And obviously, the kind of work you do is extremely different than what we do. Like, it's not even like the same realm of planet, right? But what do you
100%.
say? What do you say to 1099 independent contractors being reclassified as employees? What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's everybody's wanting the government to come in, and it's a capitalist supply and demand situation where DoorDash has done their work and got the market share. So now they can abuse their employees because they have the market share. In construction, whoever has the work has the leverage. So if there's 1,000 electricians out there trying to bid for work, and there's only so many buildings being built, that person, the general contractor that said we'll build this building for this much amount of money, and now they go out to hire electricians and plumbers and stuff. If there's no work out there, or that subcontractor is building all the buildings, they have the leverage. That's free market. That's capitalism. So if everybody's upset that DoorDash has building all the buildings and they can set whatever they want to do, everybody's wanting the government to come in and say they're abusing us. That was DoorDash's. That's what they're trying to do. That's what they're, So we are losing out, and it's oversaturated. They're not worried about competing with Uber Eats or Grubhub anymore. Now they have us bent over. So they can run over. So they're the customer. They can run whatever programs and preference this subcontractor over this subcontractor. That's how it is in construction.
Yeah.
If one company has all the work, then they can pick and choose what subcontractor they want to do the electrical, whether they want to do the plumbing. So it's beneficial.
I hear that. It feels like it's like we want to be working with a company that offers us opportunities, and it's capitalism. We get it, but we also we can't have it all. As we can't have independent, but then we got employee. We want this, we want that. It's just a little. I think it's a little crazy.
It's ugly what DoorDash is doing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's ugly, but it's just capitalism and supply and demand. It's oversaturated, so they can preference the top dashers that are making the most money, and give them the best orders or whatever they want to do. That's the way. That's the society we have. That's true, and it's. But we are all blessed. We are all blessed to be born in the land of opportunity. We're all blessed to be born in the 80s and 90s in the United States. We're above and beyond the majority of the world, being blessed and born in the land of opportunity.
I agree 100%. 100%. Dabs, what do you say? Dabs, if you have to be an employee and schedule and stuff like that, would you like that or would you not like that?
Honestly, if they're making my schedule, then no, definitely not. I'm all for going out when I want. That's the main thing with this. I mean, I do work a W-2 now, but it's very limited. It's only 20 hours a week. It is doing delivery, but I do that to even out, to maximize my earnings pretty much, with DoorDash and the all the apps and stuff like that. So pretty much I think it would be pretty bad, obviously, across the board. I think people have a lot less of a grind set mentality now. So like you said, that a lot of people do kind of want to move towards this. I do think there actually is a lot of dashers that we don't really know about that do want this, because it's going to be quote unquote easier to get orders, but you're not guaranteed money. You're really not guaranteed tip. I mean, we see all the time on markets, 22 an hour in this market, blah, 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 when you could go out and not make anything. You know what I mean? I mean, it happens.
Yeah, for sure. Kathy, what do you say? If you got to turn your apps on, do you want to be reclassified? Do you give me, Kathy? You can answer that question, but then also give me something positive you think that could come from us being reclassified, if you don't mind.
Okay, so my thoughts are I'm kind of 50-50. I don't know all about, the 180 something pages that just recently came out. But I am somewhat interested in it. The positivity of it could be at least, hey, our taxes are taken out and we don't have to send quarterly or yearly. Because, Instacart kind of burned me this past year, where I filed my taxes and then had it done in the middle of February. My check came in and they sent me an updated, corrected 1099 form. So now I owe those taxes, so I think in a way, for taxes, positivity, but I don't necessarily like the idea. I kind of like to be a free willy when it comes to, set my own schedule. I have, I'm a caretaker for my mom and I have a disabled son who's an adult. So, I kind of have to work around everything, gig work. And since after the pandemic, I kind of had to revolve. I kind of got disenchanted with being W-2s. I mean, I'm 58 years old, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm kind of also looking to like for retirement as I get older, like what, but I like the flexibility of gig work to come and go as I please, set my own hours. I'm currently mostly doing 99% of Spark right now, and I've been pretty pleased with that. I'm not even doing 40 hours a week. So, I don't have to worry about it being a franchise company because it's through Walmart, and we all know Walmart's a big company. So, but as I said, with DoorDash, as I said, I got so disenchanted like right after the holidays last year that I was like, money kept going down and down and down. And then there's just the market is oversaturated and no one wants to drive that amount of money.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side to doing this, maybe they could handle all of our taxes and figure out how many miles and do all our bookkeeping for us.
That could be a positive for a lot of people, I think. Yeah.
I think could be, one thing too, or the fact that, someone that tip baits you or something on that order, but then on the other side too, I kind of would worry too about like, are they figuring our mileage and how that would all work out? What about car expenses, car insurance? If you got a car and you're using half of your car basically for your car payment, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's kind of like, that whole iffy thing. Now, the thing about that proposition thing with California, I'm still, I guess they're getting gas mileage from my understanding in California. Is that what they're getting?
I think they get some kind. I know they get a health, some kind of health stipend or something like that for insurance, but I'm not sure about the mileage 100%. Okay. So maybe somebody in the chat that's from Cali can answer that, but I'm not 100% on that. I don't want to misspeak.
Because one of the things I did see, like in the Spark community on the Facebook page, people were, boasting, hey, I'm getting my proposition or whatever, X amount of dollars. And they're getting over 1,200 with what they've worked. Plus,
that's crazy.
They're doing $1,200 and something a week. And I'm thinking, but what if that amount of money eventually goes away? You're going to have to hustle your butt off. I mean, I worked 7 days this week. I almost did 1K, but I worked my ass off. You know, but sometimes going out later in the evening, you make more money than during the daytime. So I mean, there's all these variables. Yeah. But the gig work is not going to go away. It's old school stuff. People did stuff under the table before, and just got paid. So we're just in a new world of sense. It's not going to go away. But as I said, like with DoorDash, I mean, even Instacart got better where people couldn't pull tips after 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? So something has to work better for all of us. We should all, with the cost of the economy and everything, we all should be making a living wage. I mean, I think a single person, depending on what state you live in, with everything rising costs, we all need to be making at least $80,000 a year.
80,000, that's a lot. 80,000 is a lot of money.
But if you think about it, certain states that you're living in, cost of living, I mean, apartments, $1,500, $2,000. Who the heck's got that kind of money?
Yeah, it's wild. Let me get let me get I'm gonna unmute these guys here. What do you guys say to what do you guys say to 80,000? Do you guys think we should all be making 80,000 a year? Bud Soda,
with the world we're living in right now. Oh yeah.
You think so?
I say yeah, we should be. Most of us should be.
Mad Dash, what about you? I know you had your hand up, your finger up. What do you say to that?
Yes. Like in construction, foreman gets a truck, that's $20,000 a year to provide a construction worker truck. So you should be making at least 40 plus the 20. So you should at least make 60. In my opinion, you know.
So let me go up to Bud Soda. I'm going to kind of go around and give you guys some time. I got a lot of people waiting. I want to bring them in. Thanks for everybody that's waiting. Thanks for the people watching. Hit the thumbs up if you guys are getting any value out of this. If you like the panel and the questions tonight. Bud Soda, final thoughts about employee and or filling drink cups, because hey, I think if we're filling drink cups, it kind of makes us like an employee of that merchant for at least a hot second, right? So you know what I'm saying? Like so it's a good little combination.
Hey, I've offered to scrub in and hop online to get my order out, but
well, I'm not doing all that.
But what I'm saying
give me some final thoughts.
What they're trying to do is gosh awful, and I'm sorry, I'm very anti-union. IBU tried to pull the rug out under us, and they screwed us workers over, and I gladly left them when it stopped. You know, it was just costing me too much money. But besides that, I really think that they're trying to pave the way for that. And Prop 22, what they're trying to do over there, I knew that was the road to unions, even though Prop 22 said no unions. You know that's going to eventually be unions. I'm sorry. Steve is right. And it's going to be awful for us. And be careful, guys. The rug can be pulled out of you under you any second. And if we get Prop 22 legislation or something, Prop 22 comes out of this, these companies are going to become a lot more strict on what the time slot is. And out of no fault of your own, for example, Spark, people saying they're making that $1,200 money a week. Well, they're going to say, hey, it's your fault that you decided to wait that long. You should have canceled this order within our time parameters that we give you because you waited an unreasonable amount of time. And we're not going to pay you all that Prop 22 money because of that. And we're going to deactivate you. So be careful, guys. Always look out for that kind of stuff. The rug's been pulled out underneath me. So always have backups and be safe, guys. Thanks.
We got to be careful, that's for sure. Mad Dash, what do you say? Final thoughts, my friend?
It's going to be unpopular opinion, but it's good.
It's good. Go ahead.
This is not a career. If when it comes to a career, benefits and retirement matter. If you're going to be doing it for long term and you think you're going to retire and you have to support a family, that stuff matters. But there's no place for a union in this gig economy. This is meant to be side hustle. It's not meant for a career. It'd be beneficial.
I agree with that, and I want to say I agree with that. I agree with that, and I think that most of us know that. But I do think there are a lot of people that use it as full time and want to do it maybe even forever, and that could be okay for them. But I definitely agree it's not meant for that. I just want to say that. Go ahead.
I know. Pedro agrees. So there's no room for a union here. I am a union electrician now, but that was one of the things. But a lot of the subcontractors that are bidding out work, that are building buildings, they put that in the contract to where you can't have a 1099 guy on the job. Luckily, in my place, because it'd be a race to the bottom. If there wasn't for a union, I was a non-union electrician for 15 years. I wouldn't have made what I made, hourly wage and benefits and stuff, if there wasn't the competition of the union taking good electricians away from the non-union people. They were keeping our wages up, and so the non-union companies had to offer benefits, and the jobs that they were bidding, the people that had to work, that's all it is. The people that have to work, when times get lean, they have all the leverage. DoorDash has all the leverage. They played their game. They got the market. So only people I have to compete with is Uber Eats and Grubhub. They had the market cornered, so they can bend you over. It was Top Dasher, whatever the program they want to run, and preference this guy or that guy. That's in the free market and capitalism, that's their right to do it. There's no, I mean, it's so supply and demand. They have tons of drivers. Like in the construction industry, it'd be a wash because they can get whatever they want. They take the lowest bid. But there's people building buildings that have the contract to build this building. They take the union contractor over the non-union contractor that's bidding lower because they have lower wages for their employees, but they take the union contractor because they care about how they treat their employees. You're not going to find that here. It's just not happening. It's sick. Do you want the government to come in and fix this problem? I mean, it's capitalism.
It's trading one bad for another bad, possibly, is how I look at it. But good point, Sarah. Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. It sucks. It totally sucks.
It can.
We'll have to have a debate another day.
Dabs, what do you is it am I saying that right? Hold on, I can't see.
Drab,
sorry. Drab, what do you say, man? Final thoughts about this topic, my friend.
Man, as I look at it right now, I'm like, this month I'm kind of confused because pretty much all of us are top dashers. If you reset your acceptance rate, you're pretty much a top dasher. So I'm starting to think that this might lead into a whole thing maybe coming in the next few months of maybe, you might have to have your acceptance rate not below 30 or not below 40, maybe not even below 50. I think they're going to slowly start implementing percentages throughout all of the statistics through DoorDash specifically. I don't know about the other apps. I hope it doesn't happen with the other apps because I make most of my money with like Shipped right now. But DoorDash is a great platform. But it's just seeing a lot of questionable things right now. But I think this all ties back to having exit strategy. You tell us this every day in every one of your videos. Build to a goal. I think saving money right now is very smart, but saving money is also very hard. So if you can't save money, spend it smart. And don't spend it on stupid stuff. So I guess that's all I would say.
Well said. Kathy, what do you say?
Well, here's the thing. We're all disposable, regardless of 1099 or W-2. Somebody wants you, you're gone for whatever reason.
Yes.
So, the thing is, you can't think of even the companies that you've worked for 20 years. They are still going to want you because they'll try to get rid of you before you can get your pension and your retirement. Because I've seen it happen through my lifetime, even as I was in my 20s, seeing this happen to older people. So, everybody's disposable. And I think the thing is, you got to watch out for number one, which is yourself. That's the biggest thing. Always have where you're at, like, okay, I'm doing good now, but have an exit strategy because have a backup plan. Because
have a backup.
Something, like I said to you before, I've been on before. My thing is, we've got so much online. Eventually, I plan on doing a business. I can sit my butt home and work from home and do things on that order. But I think, if anything, it's all taught us how to be entrepreneurs, in one way, shape, or form, because we're working for ourselves right now. We're looking for the next big thing, whatever it may be or may not. But to do this for a lifetime, I don't think so. I don't even see how taxi drivers in the past, I don't even know how that even works anymore. But you think before Uber and everything, taxi drivers, they had to lease a vehicle and cost of this and that. There's cost behind everything. And I think that's just the biggest thing. Just watch out for yourself because, what's here today might not be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
I see people deactivated even on Spark for whatever reason. And, who knows what they did wrong because they're not maybe telling the full thing of what happened. But you do your best. But I think in regards to DoorDash, when their market dropped after the holidays and then they started losing contracts, I think just in general, they had to lower their pay to everybody to recoup. Because if you think about it, they have W-2 people. They have to worry about those people first before the 1099s, which are the drivers.
Yeah. Interesting. I think we're all kind of, we have to be ready with a plan B, C, and D in this economy, I think, in the way everything's going on, because we are definitely disposable. This type of work is definitely disposable. Many of us have seen that. Maybe even many of us have experienced it. But also we have to remember that, like, like Mad Dash was saying, this work isn't meant or intended to be super long term. It could be great to fill a gap, short term, part time, pay off some debt. I think some of us can do it full time and do it for a number of years, but that's going to be the minority, right? And those are the hustler. I mean, you're hustling. Bud Soda's hustling out here. He's making his money. I see other drivers they've been doing it for 5, 6, 7 years, and they're making good money. But we also, what I would say to those drivers is like, if this employee stuff starts coming, if the reclassification is a thing, or if you get deactivated, like, what do? That my challenge to those kind of drivers, if you don't have a plan B, think about what that plan B is. And it might be going back to a W-2, learning a trade. There's a lot of different options, but I think we have to be ready for that. And that way we're not, caught with our pants down, surprised. Like it's hard out here for a lot of people. Inflation's a real thing. Gas prices are going to go up. Food costs are up. Like, we have to be willing to use these apps in a way that benefits us without having to like rely on them too much, I think. And I think some of us maybe rely on them too much, and that can be scary. So panel, I appreciate y'all. I got a lot of people waiting. I'm going to bring them in. Appreciate you guys coming in, sharing your opinions, your thoughts, and you guys have a great night.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so let me hold on here. Okay, so I see. Oh, hold up. I got you. Okay, hold on. All right. So I see Driven for Dinner. I see Jesse. I see Declan. I see Matrix, and L. I'm gonna bring all you guys on. Okay, so 1 minute. I'm gonna see what the chat's got going on. Give some shout outs to Leo. I see Leo in the house. I'm Nefarious. Jonathan K. What up? What up? What up? Krista Ray. Some new names. I see Isaiah, John Hill, Dasher Poppy. What up? Welcome back. I see Rideshare Rodeo still chopping it up with us. Krista Ray. It's interesting. I think it's, Steve Rideshare Rodeo said something I pinned up as a comment a moment ago. This kind of work can lead to entrepreneurship opportunities for yourself or building something for yourself. It can teach you how to manage your taxes, your money, save. Like it gives you that beginning point of possibly being an entrepreneur, right? But also, I think most of us that do this work don't want to be an entrepreneur. I think that's the extreme minority. Most of us aren't building towards something like that, and that's fine, right? But these apps, like, we have to be willing to adapt. Things are changing. When I started doing this full time, a year and a half ago, well, almost, we're coming up on 2 years. This, I guess, February or March will be 2 years. They're way different now than they were then. It's still pick up, drop off, but as far as how the app is designed, how it moves you, what it needs from you, the saturation or not saturation, the base pay, the programs within the app, the resetting of acceptance, that's a lot's happened in kind of a short amount of time. So just think about this next year coming up. What else is going to happen? Are you ready for that? Are you going to be moved on to something else? So we have to keep asking ourselves that question. So, all right, so let's go ahead and bring in, we got Driven for Dinner. How are you? Oop, hold up.
Good. How are you?
Good. I see we had a little mute. We got Jesse. What's up, Jesse? How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We have Declan. Are you there, Declan?
Yes, I am.
All right. And we got Matrix. What's up, Matrix?
What up?
I'm just going to give you and Driven for Dinner. I think even Jesse, you guys have been rocking the last couple of weeks. You guys have been coming on. Appreciate the support. I'm going to have to give you guys some, send you some swag or something. I got to do something for y'all. So, all right.
Hoodie.
We got, let's see. Who else we got waiting here? Hold on 1 second. I see Chris Arizona came back. Let me see if we can get him on. Chris, are you there with us?
Hey.
What's up? You can hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, so let me start with Driven for Dinner. What do you think about the reclassification? And then also, I want to get your opinion on, do you fill up a soda cup? Go ahead. You start us off.
There are not a lot of places in my area that you don't fill up the soda cup. So
oh, really?
It doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, like I mean, I could think of a handful. I mean, I think I'm like everyone else that when I get an order that has no drinks, I do my little happy dance. Yeah. The best feeling because then you don't have to worry about it. But I fill a ton of cups. I put in the super chat. Like I did 16 one time for an accidental large order I got. And they felt so bad that the Wingstop actually started helping me fill them. But
16 is a lot. I mean,
yeah,
that
it
would
was
be, yeah, that's a lot.
it was insane. I didn't realize what I was getting into because I just hit, it said $6 add-on for 2 miles. And I was like, sure. I didn't know I was getting into a $180 order.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, I don't care. I mean, I just like, I get petty on the road, but that just seems too petty for me. Because I don't know, that it just doesn't seem worth the fight. Like, it's not worth putting my energy into the universe about.
Yeah. So
So
let me ask you a question. Did you see the video that I did yesterday about the driver and he delivered an empty cup? Do you know?
I
Like,
watch all your videos, but
okay,
yes.
was I being too harsh by calling him a clown and that he should be deactivated? Like, what do you think about a driver that would do something like that? Like, what's your opinion on that?
I don't know about deactivated because he might have just been having a really bad day. I think we've all had those. I've never done anything extreme, but I'm just saying, like, but I do think that he needed to go home for the day. Like, I think that, that was one of those things where it's like, do I think it's possible they're going to deactivate him?
Yeah, I mean, they might not even find out. Yeah, I mean,
it just depends on what the customer does.
Yeah,
because the customer might not even know what point he's proving. They're just feeling disrespected. So, I mean, yeah, I saw the video. I don't see the point in the amount of energy. Like, it's understandable that people are frustrated about it, but like, is it worth the fight? No. And I personally appreciate the fact that I can control how much ice, control how much drink. If I know that I have a stack and it's going to a restaurant that makes me wait, I can put in more ice so that the drink looks better when I get there. So, like, it doesn't bother me, like, at all.
I hear you. Yeah, and it's such a silly thing. And I thought, do I even make this video? I was like, nah, I'm feeling some type of way today. Let's clown this guy. Let's put him on blast. I was just feeling like that yesterday. But Jesse, what do you think, man? Do you fill drinks? Do you not fill drinks? Should drivers even be having to do that? What's your opinion on it?
As far as, like, my whole idea is they should treat me like I'm almost the customer. If the customers fill drinks while you're there, like if I go there and buy something on my own and they give me an empty cup and I have to go fill it, like they have those like big stations where you fill it, then absolutely, then I'll fill the drink. But if that's not the case, and they're just being lazy, basically, I think they should treat me like a customer. If I'm a customer, customers fill their drinks, that's fine. If it's the other way around, I think they should fill their drinks. But also at the same time, if I'm waiting anyway and they give it to me early, I got no problem with it. I just don't like it when they give me the whole order and then they give me 2 empty cups. And it's like, well, you could have given me that 5 minutes ago.
Good. That's a good point for sure. Yeah. What do you say about this? Did you hear about this reclassification that the Labor Department wants to do with 1099s? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was kind of taking some notes. I think honestly, this work, I think somebody said it earlier, this is bid work, and I think that's the way it should stay. I think that if you don't think this is worth your time, you shouldn't be doing it. I do this as like a second source of income, and I do it kind of when I want to. And I like being able to go and do this. And if I'm just having a shitty day, I'll just go home.
Yeah.
A bunch of bad orders, I'm like, I'll go home. It's whatever. I don't think you should be doing this as a full-time job.
I think it can be really hard for a lot of us. I think we're seeing that even on YouTube and Reddit groups, and it's hard to do it full time. It puts a lot of stress on you, your car, your stability, your mentality. Like it can be tough for some people. I think that's a good point. Declan, what do you say? Do you fill cups at restaurants, and second, what do you think about being reclassified as an employee?
Oh, the cups thing, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't happen to me very often in my market. People don't order drinks very much. I don't know how they're getting hydrated, but I just don't get drink orders very much. Anyway.
I think some customers just don't even want. They feel like it could be watered down, or they feel like it could be, So I think it could be some of that too.
And I would say probably 20% of them, they have drinks. I have to fill it. Yeah, I mean, it gets me out of there faster. I don't care.
Yeah.
But the 1099 thing. So I've been doing 1099 work since 1998, which makes me sound very old. But
I can do my taxes. I don't need somebody to help me out with that. You know, just let me do my thing. And I think what will save us, and the reason why I'm not stressed out about it, is like someone else pointed out earlier in the last group. They're not just messing with us; they're messing with contractors. It's hard enough to get a house built as it is, and then you're gonna do this. Like nobody's gonna do a house built. Government contractors, all this stuff. Like I don't think we're gonna be the ones that stop from happening, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I can't.
I think that's a great
imagine
point.
it
I think
going
that's a
through.
great point. I think we live in our bubble in our world because a lot of us do this, right? Or we did it, or we do it part-time or full-time or whatever, right? And it's important to us because we make a living doing it, right? But there's a lot of other people that this would or could affect that would want to stop this from happening. You know,
Billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah,
and I just don't see it happening. I mean, I'm a registered Democrat. I will say, I think it's an idea that was just floated, and we Democrats do that. When they float ideas they know are never going to happen, and I think that's kind of what this is. Like somebody said, midterms, they floated an idea, see what happens, and I just can't see it happening.
I agree. I think and even if it does, like Steve was saying, there's a lot of things that would have to happen, court proceedings and this and that, before we would even possibly see it affect our apps on the phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Matrix, what do you say about these topics, my friend?
Which one first? Drinks or?
Go ahead. Whatever you got.
I want to fill drinks, because I'm not going to get a sloppy fill with it spilling over the side. When I'm in a Wingstop, Taco Bell, I'm like, hey, I got 2 large drinks on this order. Give me the cups, I'll fill them up. The employees are usually like, hey, that's great. I want to fill the drinks just because I'm waiting for the order anyway. And I'm going to do like a normal fill and not have it all like I have to wipe it down. You guys know what's up with that. So this clown that you showed with, delivering the empty drink, he's a clown.
It's crazy.
Absolutely a clown. You said maybe the clown of the month. I think he wins clown of the year. Just an early vote. That is ridiculous. I mean, I've gone out of my way for some customers, in certain ways. One store didn't have chocolate chip cookies, so I went across the street, bought chocolate chip cookies out of my own pocket, delivered it to them, texted them, hey, Starbucks didn't have chocolate chip cookies. I bought these at Panera. Have a good day.
No, that is
they changed their that's way above. But I took a calculated risk. I spent $5 on cookies. She changed her Uber tip to $20. So it was just one of those things. Customer service. Taco Bell was out of coffee the other day. I went to Circle K, got the guy a coffee out of my own pocket for $1.37. Said, hey, man, bought you a coffee. They were out. And he was like, are you kidding me? He didn't change his tip because it was DoorDash. But anyway, customer service. Come on. You have to fill a drink. And soda is not considered a food by the FDA. So it's kind of out of the food handling licensing that we all talk about. Soda is not a food. So however you want to classify that. In terms of being an employee, no, not for it at all. I was dismayed when I first read the story. But as your first guest, Steve, said, this is going to take years and years and years in litigation. Every company, DoorDash, Uber, Grubhub, all will have a case to bring to court, and then to the next level of court, and then to a higher level of court. They will all be able to appeal this. So this employee thing shouldn't worry any of us for what I'm thinking is probably going to be 3 to 4 years, probably at a minimum.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I don't think it's something that will impact even most of us even watching now, because we might not be doing this work at that time, and or like Declan was saying, Declan was saying, like there's so many other entities, billion-dollar corporations and contractors, and be like, nah, this ain't happening. We're gonna fight this until
it'll be muddled up in court for years and years and years. So we don't have to worry about it today.
Yeah, I think so. Chris, what do you say about the topics we got going on tonight, my friend?
Well, you work in a large market. Me, I work in we have one road that drives through our town. So we have one McDonald's, one Burger King, one of every restaurant. and the relationship that we build with the merchant is important to me. So filling a drink, or because I have to go back there several times a day to the same restaurant. So if I make one of the employees mad that day, I'm going to see the next employee the same day several times, or tomorrow or the next day. And if I don't have a good relationship with the merchants, then they're going to remind me by making my food bags a lot slower than what they need to be, or they lose my ticket. Or
good
maybe,
point. Really good point. Yeah.
And a lot of these people, they have the iPad, so they can go in there and deactivate you from going to their restaurant. So they can go in there and say, yeah, you're a bad dasher, you caused us problems, and deactivate you from going to that restaurant. Well, if I only have 150 restaurants that I'm dealing with, and if I'm not good with those merchants and they deactivate me from half of them, then where's my work? Where am I going to be? So to fill a cup or to go the extra mile for the merchant, we're all going to win out in the long run, because the merchant's going to get theirs, I'm going to get mine, the customer's going to get theirs. So in the big picture, we're all together, because we're all trying to get the same end game, get the food to the customer, get the customer to pay us, and move on to the next order. So
are you in Arizona? Is that your market?
Yeah, we're about 5 miles from Mexico.
Okay. And
So,
you said it's a very small market.
Yeah. We've our market is spread over 3 small towns. So I mean, I've been to St. Louis before, and that's a huge city compared to what I got.
Well, you're
When I say one street, it's our city is 5 miles square.
Wow.
And that's it. Just
so you have to see the same people often, like weekly, I would imagine, right? No?
I get the same customers every single day, 7 days a week, and you know exactly who's ordering and what time they order and where you're going to be at a certain time.
Well, let me ask you a question, Drew. You feel like you're doing well in your market? Do you like having that proximity of relationship and the closeness and seeing the same people? Like, does that work for you? Like, because I can't imagine, that's so different from what I see.
Well, see, this is a military town, so it's a big transitory. A lot of people come in and out. But you've got like for me, my morning customers are mainly elderly people. So that's when I do my grocery deliveries, and it's always to the same older people. So when you bring the food, you know that so-and-so is going to need help to bring the food into their house. So, that's extra customer service there because they're disabled. But, it's not like your market might take you to a completely different area where you might not see the same customers for months and months or at all ever. Mine, I run into the same people at Walmart. When I'm out doing my personal business, I see the same customers that I've dealt with as a dasher. So it's important for me to, and they recognize me by the customer service that I provide them. And if I'm mean or nasty to them, what if I have to go to their job and ask for a service?
That's a good point. And I think in the smaller town perspective, I think, in my opinion, the customer service and how you move even has to be even more elevated than even somebody like mine. And I try to give really good service, and it comes natural to me only because I've been doing it a long time. But I think that I also realize I have regulars that I see, but I also could maybe go a month or two without seeing them, because there's just the city's so big. There's so many people. There's so many drivers, so many restaurants, but you never know, karma is a thing, and you never know, like, the interaction you have at that McDonald's with that person that wants you to make a drink. If you don't know how to just talk and converse, and if you don't want to make it, but if you don't know how to build that relationship and not make it go sideways, that person might be somebody that you need something from them a month later, and you just treated them like garbage, and they're not going to help you. I think we have to realize, like, we are delivery drivers. We're picking up, we're dropping off, but we're in the customer service field. Like, we need to be like courteous, respectful. We need to have empathy with these restaurants. If you're walking into a place and they're treating you like trash and they're not being respectful and they're rude, that's one thing. Hey, just stop doing business with them. Don't peddle their product. Don't, just don't do business with them. But we can't be delivering empty cups and causing scenes. And, Dash Grandpa has a comment. I'll read it real quick and then I'll go back around the panel. He says, I'm not against filling drinks, but I've seen some delivery drivers that I personally wouldn't even want them touching a bag that my food is in. Sure wouldn't want them filling my drink. And I think some of us have probably seen some drivers that questionably dressed or hygiene issues, or, have you guys seen some of that? I'll start with the driven for dinner.
No, I mean, I see the customers that way. I've not seen the I've seen some houses where there's a house where I called one of my people that I'm like, anyways, point is that I called someone. I was like, I don't know if I should report this person because the smell coming out of that home, but I'm like, they ordered food, so there's no one dead inside, I assume.
Oh, it's that bad? That bad?
I've come across a lot of hoarding houses where we're at. There's a lot of elderly and they don't have family to support them to keep things clean.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't see a lot of trashy drivers. If anything, I'm super clean, but I would be the closest to a trashy. I'm in yoga pants and a hoodie and I'm chill because I'm getting in and out of my car. I'm not wearing slacks. But yeah. And then on the whole employee thing, I have to be honest, controversial, straight up, $80,000 for a delivery driver when you're not working that hard does not make sense. That's not okay.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
There are people that and I'm not saying go to college, but I'm just saying there are people that went through legit trades, trade schools or whatever, and they worked really, really hard to get to $80,000. What you've said it 1,000 times. What we do is simple. What we do is easy.
It is.
And so to sit there and be okay, well, we're going to take Tom John that, just does this on the weekends and he could go into this full time and make $80,000 for what? It's food. In my personal opinion, it's food delivery. If you're going to make $80,000 a year, it's because you're hustling and making $80,000 a year.
Yes. I mean, I do think there are some drivers that can do that. I think that's rare.
Oh, yeah. The driven dad, he kills it. I don't even want to know what his yearly is. With what his monthlies are, it's crazy.
Well, I think he said he was, I'll say this because I know he shared it publicly on his channel. I heard him say he was striving to get to 100,000 this year. And he was trying to make, I think, 10,000 for the last 4 months of the year so that he could make 100K, which is admirable. That's a goal of his. He's hustling. He's working every day. He's grinding. He's got a family. So I think it can definitely be done in some markets, but $80,000 a year, just for everybody across the board, I don't see how that would even be possible.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying we shouldn't make 80,000. If we're working and hustling to make 80,000, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be entitled. It shouldn't be we should expect to make 80,000 a year. Trust me, I am a single mom with kids. I get what cost of living is with no secondary income.
Yeah.
So it's I hustle my butt off, and I'm in my quote unquote real life, I'm a professional with a college education. I have a career out there that I'll be getting back to in the next couple months, and then going back to this part time, still putting my time into it because I like what it does for my life. I like the things that it's provided. And I love that in this interim, I was able to fall back on it and be cool. But I would not do it as a W-2 because what the heck would that even? No, I wouldn't do it as a W-2. I wouldn't do it as an employee because they're going to make my schedule. They're going to make my money. They're going to make my hours. And the only reason I do this is because of the fact that I get to cap myself. I don't believe there's a cap out there. I think there's a cap. I think there's a cap if you take every single offer, but I do not think that there's a cap if you're being selective. And you could make your cap based on how you move and your demographic, but the algorithm isn't stopping you at the. Exactly. Especially if you're multi-apping. And so it's but at the same time, like I said, I think that I agree with you. I think that there's a higher percentage than 1% out there that want this, but I don't think that they know what they're getting into. And Steve brought to light a lot of things that they're not looking at Prop 22. They're looking at something that is completely different, and it's going to take away all the freedoms that they are gaining with this, employment right now. And I don't think that they get it. And so, no, I don't think I have a bunch of dirty people delivering in my area. Yes, I will fill drinks. I do not want to be an employee of DoorDash. That sounds miserable. Like,
okay, but let me ask you this, and then I want to go around the room. I want to go around the room. Hold on, I can't see it. Hold on. Oh snap! Oh yes, that is a bet. I love it. Thank you. That is awesome.
It was raining today. It was not on purpose. It was raining today, and like I didn't feel like putting on a jacket, so I threw on a hoodie. It dropped from like 90 degrees to 60 degrees today.
Got the BetonYou swag.
See, it does look better in,
It. I wasn't lying, right? Like I know it.
No, no.
It's not
I
like
love it.
It's like kind of soft. The material is pretty good. Hey,
it is, and it's bright pink. The head hole's small. That's the only thing. I got a fat head.
Yeah, I didn't make
it. But no, what were you going to say? Sorry.
So let me ask you guys this, because it seems like there's a consensus from most. Yeah, I don't want to be an employee. I don't want to be employed. I don't want to be employed. I'm going to ask you guys this. Just give me a short answer. I'll go around the room. Okay. If on tomorrow, Monday, let's just say it's not going to happen, but we're playing a game here. You opened your app up. It said you are now an employee of DoorDash. You need to take every order, and we're gonna, you're guaranteed to make this amount of money, whatever. We're gonna give you $10 a day for gas, and take a picture of your hot bag. Let's just say it was real simple stuff. Would you honestly stop working for it? Would you, because everybody doesn't want to be an employee, but would you honestly just say, nope, I'm done? I'll start with the driven for dinner.
Absolutely. I'm done.
Done. Okay. Declan.
Would depend on the pay, but 75% done.
Okay. The Matrix?
Yeah, it would depend certainly on the pay. I mean, she was just talking about income. I made $96,000 from September to September. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of money that can be made. If being an employee of DoorDash is around that number, I might, but I know it's not. I would just go get a job with Domino's or Chick-fil-A.
Right. So you open the app, they say you're going to make $20 an hour. And in some markets, it might be 15. Some markets, it might be 30 because, there's cost of living is different. So let's say they figure that out, because they're not going to say everybody makes 25. That would be a stupid business move on their part. Right. But they're going to say you're going to make $20 an hour. I'm just throwing that number out there. You guys are saying that you would say, nope, not going to work today. And then you start looking for a W-2 or looking for a job, or that's you guys would be that steadfast. You'd be like, nope, not doing it at all. That's what you guys are saying. Right.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Declan.
Yeah, for 20 an hour. No, I mean, I live in Rochester, New York. It's about 350,000, 400,000 people. Yes. That's $20 an hour makes me mad.
So would it have to be 30, 35? Am I closer by saying
20, 25 guaranteed? I might. 25, okay. I would do it, but I would start looking harder for a W-2 than I already even am. So.
Okay, everybody else, what about $25? Do you still work tomorrow, or do you still say, nope, I'm done?
What? Who's first?
Anybody.
Do I keep my tips?
Yeah, well, $25 an hour. If somebody gives you a cash tip.
That's a good point.
If somebody gives you a cash tip, you obviously keep the cash tip. But they're saying you're gonna work for 4 hours for lunch. We're gonna give you $25 an hour. If you get a cash tip, they don't know about that. But you're gonna make $25 an hour. You got to take whatever hits your phone. Do you still work?
Let's see.
No, because the people that I'm gonna have to take orders from are gonna get deactivated. So no.
Okay.
No, they're gonna say they didn't get their food, and then suddenly I don't have a job anyways.
But it's the same thing. If you go to work for Chick-fil-A and you deliver Chick-fil-A in-house, I've talked to these drivers before, and I'm like, hey, do you guys make good money? And they're like, well, yeah, pretty decent. And I'm like, well, do you know your tips when you go out? And they're like, no, they do not show us any of our tips when we take a delivery. We just get like a base, whatever. And then we get shown our tips 24 hours later. And I'm like, so you guys are just delivering blind to anybody? And they're like, yeah, but, and this is a key but, they're, at least for Chick-fil-A and their Domino's too in my market, their radius is 3 miles. So their longest trip is going to be 3 miles and then a deadhead back for probably 3 miles.
Yeah, that's easy. I mean, that's pretty easy for most of us. That's pretty easy. Yeah.
But they don't know their tips at all. They don't even get shown a house by house or customer by customer. They just do deliveries just like Domino's. Just
you said Chick-fil-A, right?
Yeah, the Chick-fil-A in-house. And I'm like, well, do you make good money? Like, what do you make? And they're like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's about $20 an hour. And I'm like, okay.
Well, they share tips too. Chick-fil-A does they share tips. At least my franchise Chick-fil-A is in St. Louis. If you give somebody $10 per se, right? Because they don't really push the tipping culture in Chick-fil-A. It's kind of their brand. But if you give somebody $10, they actually share that with everybody that's working in the restaurant.
But that is Pedro, that is a franchise by franchise because Chick-fil-A is a franchise. So they have different policies on that. So I think yours, that's probably the case. I didn't ask that specific question.
Now, have any of you guys had, since had me, there's a restaurant here that I go to all the time for brunch. I did 5 deliveries for them this morning, and they approached me once, and I think it was half a joke, but just saying, we should just hire you. Like, you're the one who comes back here.
Right. I've had that many times. Yeah.
And it's like, I think I always try to maintain those relationships because I'm like, man, there might be a day.
Yes.
You know, if this Armageddon does happen.
Sure, yeah.
I'm going
to do delivery on the side for them. I do delivery on the side for 2 places right now, and it's cash, and it's not often, but it happens, and it's a good filling gap for me.
Yeah, it's just, I think if you hear that remember that restaurant, because maybe someday, if Armageddon happens, we might have to do that.
Especially if it's a family owned and not a franchise or a big name. It's like a local family. Write that shit on a sticky note and put it in your back pocket.
Yes. Yeah. All 3 that have approached me were family.
Let me ask Chris. Chris, would you wake up tomorrow, your app turns on, and you're in your smaller market, and they're saying, "Hey, $25 an hour, got to take everything." Do you still work tomorrow on DoorDash?
For me, yes, because this town only pays $12 an hour for minimum wage.
No.
And to make $20 or $25 an hour, you're talking a pretty high wage. Our cost of living, you can live pretty reasonable on $30,000 in this town.
Sure.
So, I mean, and we're only a 5 mile square. So, I mean, to take every order and stay in a 5 mile square box.
So for you, that's a pay raise probably.
Yeah. Because you figure the average person around here might make $15 an hour. And that's pretty, because you figure we're scalped a whole bunch by a lot of the illegal workers that are coming across, and they take up a lot of the jobs. But and then you've got you've got a lot of retirees like myself that go and get, we get these part-time jobs just to supplement our income. So I mean, to say no, you have to look at each person's going to be different. Like one of the guys said, they're from New York. Well, New York's very expensive to live there. Same way with any inner city place is very expensive to live. But when you get to rural America, it's not that expensive to live and work out here. So I mean, to say I wouldn't even consider just to look at the package deal that they were offering me. It's either work for DoorDash and try to make the best of it, or go to work at Walmart for $12 an hour.
What border is he on?
We're Mexico.
Oh, okay. How many cities is your zone?
We're only one. We're a 5 mile square box.
Oh, wow. Okay,
so for you, it might be a better question, Chris. You turn on the app and it says, "Hey, we're going to pay you $12 an hour. It's minimum or whatever the minimum." I mean, do you still work because you need to, or do you say, "Okay, now I'm out"?
Well, it just depends, because some of these people, this is their only income. They'd have to make that decision. But like for me, I use it as a supplement. I mean, to me, I can work, or I'm like you, I have other money. So I mean, you sit down and you make that decision. Well, how much extra money do I need for this month? Is that worth my time? Yeah. And is it worth me going out there and using my car and being out in the rain and the cold and the snow for that? And for some people, it might be, that's worth it. $12 an hour. I can work maybe 4 or 5 hours at lunchtime or dinner. As long as I don't have to work overnight shift or real early in the morning, it might work out. And me, I have over 10,000 orders by my name. So how is DoorDash going to compare me to somebody who's new? Are they going to incentivize me because I've been a loyal participant of their business for such a long time? Are they going to say, well, you have priority shift pick, so you can work daytime or you can work in the evening. You get first choice of scheduling, where somebody who's new, they might not get that. They might have to take the leftover shifts that nobody else has wanted. But you have to look at the big picture that they're offering you and make the decision, just not to say, well, they're going to turn on the app and just give you something. But what are they offering you? And is it comparable to something that's out there already for you?
Yeah, it's a good point. And I think it's going to be different, obviously, in each area. You know, I got here in Cali, Dasher Poppy says 25 an hour is not enough. And obviously in Cali, the cost of living's more. Declan, you said you're in New York, right?
Yeah, but it's upstate, it's Rochester.
Upstate, yeah.
So it's not horrible. I mean, it's not great. I mean, I'll just say I pay $1,500 a month for rent, but I live in a house.
Yeah.
Not like, in an apartment.
Right.
But and gas is actually pretty reasonable because we're right on the lake, and so it makes it very cheap. But I think I'm paying I filled up today and it was $3.60 a gallon. Which I apologize to everybody in California for saying that.
Yeah, I think it's almost up to $7 in some places from what I saw, which is crazy. I paid last week when I used my Get Upside app. Okay, I paid $2.75 for gas.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, yeah. And then this week sometimes I go to a certain gas station that's not linked with them because I just like to go there for whatever reason. I think I paid $3.29. So not great, not horrible. I feel like really lucky though. $3.29 to me is pretty good.
I can pay $3.15 if I go to Costco, but I don't want to deal with those lines.
For me, no way.
Perspective, right here in Colorado, in the middle of America, it was $3.59. So it's about the same. Not Costco, but about the same all the way to New York.
But I think people need to know what their numbers are. They need to know how much, you always hear people preach, know your numbers. Well, how much is it costing you to do this? How much is it costing you to drive daily? Break it down by hour. And what might be sound stupid to you in your market might be a reasonable figure for me in mine. So, I mean, what you say is a bad offer in your market, that's a perfectly okay one for mine. Just like you say, oh, we don't take $5 or $6 orders. Well, if I'm in a 5 mile box, a $6 order, that's $1.50 a mile.
Oh yeah, that's good. I do 5 and 6. I'll even do $4 for a mile if it's slow, but I just don't do 2 and 3. I don't do 2 and 3. Like I can't. I'm too petty. I'm too I cannot do $2 and $3 orders. I don't care if it's going across the street. Maybe it's my pride. I don't care. I've
got add-ons that are on the same block, like next door neighbors. For $2.50, and I'm like, nope, you're gonna walk your big ass to the store and get your own food.
Yeah, but some drivers will do it, and that's do what you want to do.
Pedro, I thought about you today. I was being petty because the first half hour of my shift, it was $3 peak pay. Yeah, and I got 3 $6 orders in a row, and I'm like, they're not tipping. No. Terrible. I don't care if I'm getting paid $6 for 3 miles.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. So you saw those 3 orders. They came in back to back to back, right?
Yep.
How long was it before the 4th or 5th or whatever order came in before you accepted one that was good for you? And how much?
Like 15 minutes. It wasn't a long time.
And how do you remember how much it was? Like,
yeah, I got one for $10.75 for 5.5 miles.
Okay, so it was better. So if you would have taken that, you could have maybe in that time taken 2 6s and made $12, but then you're doing more work, but you made 10 for doing.
It was no, because it was that particular order was all highway, so it was okay. It was quick, but it's like it's just I just knew they were no tippers, and the only strikes I've ever had against me were no tippers. So I'm just like, if you're not tipping me, I'm not delivering to you because you're going to complain.
I always break it down to Pedro. It's like, do I want to deliver to 3 miserable human beings or 1 happy human being?
I hear your voice in my head all the time when I'm delivering. Every time.
Don't speak too loud now, y'all, because there are some people that don't like. I am petty. I don't care. I am. No, I am who
I
I
want
am.
that shirt, by the way. I want that shirt. I want
I'm
a Petty
petty.
Pedro
I am
shirt.
petty. I know. And with my like face on it, like looking real petty.
No, too far. But I just want a Petty Pedro shirt.
Listen, but
Too
and that's
far.
everybody's gonna do what they want. But at the end of the day, like I feel like I stand by. If you take too many $2 and $3 orders, you're suffocating
Enabling.
your profits. Yeah, and you can't.
Enabling the shitty
Enabling it just
non-tipping
doesn't.
community.
Yeah,
If you've done this for more
No
than
tip, no trip.
if you've done this for more than like 3 months and you haven't cursed someone out in your car, you're lying. Like you're lying. If
Yes,
say,
you haven't.
like,
You have not been. You're not a dasher yet, unless you've cussed either yourself out, a merchant, or a customer respectfully in your car.
in
by
your
yourself.
car.
You're not
Yeah.
a dasher yet.
The best part is
We're locked in
And
these
that's
little
why I feel like
cubicles.
I'm a top dasher because I've cursed all three at the same time within one conversation.
Yeah.
But
Well, I don't know.
We're locked in these little cubicles. We're gonna get angry. We're gonna get petty. Like
Yeah,
it's just impossible.
I think
It's
it's
when
normal.
DoorDash fools you. When DoorDash brings the base pay to $6.50, and you're like, oh, okay, that's a decent order. You drop off, you click your phone, base pay $6.50, tip 0.
Yeah.
I have one time kind of lightly punched myself in the face because I'm like, I can't believe I fell for that shit.
But it
Well,
happens. It
Pedro had
happens to
that
all of us.
video and he did the 450 and he was like, son of a.
Yeah, Pedro
You
did
could just
that.
see that,
He was
like,
like, man, I'm
that
telling you, this is
son of
what
a.
this is gonna be.
Like, look on his face. I
Yeah,
thought
it
that
was
was that
funny.
cracked me up. He looked so like, oh shit.
Listen, and that's just
Like
me.
that was
Like
that thing.
Rarely happens, but it does happen.
it happens, and like typically in my experience in my market, those are also the customers that give you bad delivery instructions.
And a bad rating.
And a
Well,
bad
do you
rating,
guys
They're the one
have you
stars.
guys done any of the cash on delivery pizza orders? Where I did
No,
3 of them
not
today
I
to
will not
try
do cash
to
on delivery.
try them out. I wanted to try them, and 2 of them I showed up because they just came back to back at a Pizza Hut I had, and out of the 3 I did, 2 of them tipped me like 25 cents. They basically round up to the next dollar.
No way.
Yeah, that's literally the only thing I'm opted out of.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
the only
I
reason I
opted out
took
of that
them is
too.
because I wanted some cash, like until I get paid. I just wanted some
Sure.
cash.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, all right, it's like whatever. And like I did 3 cash deliveries today, and 2 of them were basically like a 30-cent tip, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
It's terrible.
If you want to know why I don't do the cash deliveries, Google Rochester, New York murder rate.
Oh,
Ah.
right.
Well, I'm in St.
I shouldn't
Louis.
laugh at that.
I'm in St. Louis, so that
Yeah.
just
I think
tells you
St. Louis
everything
murder
right there.
rate got you topped.
Yeah, and I listen.
Correct me
Maybe
if
not
I'm
per
wrong,
capita.
Casey.
I've done 1 or 2 for video purposes to see what they were like. And I've also done a couple of orders I didn't think had a tip on there that were pizza ones. And I've gotten some cash tips. I've also gotten stiffed. I mean, it's part of the game. But for me, I think the cash program could be good in some markets if you feel safe in your area. And historically, consumers do tip on pizza orders cash. I mean, they give you the change. They give you $1 or $5 or whatever. I think 5 is kind of like the sweet spot, at least in my market, for a normal pizza delivery. If it's 2 or 3 pies, a $5 tip's kind of normal.
It was the same.
But-
That was
Some
the
Little
same
Caesars.
norm in 1984.
Yeah.
I delivered pizzas 30 goddamn
Yeah.
years ago, and a
And it's-
$5 tip was pimp back then. And now they think it's the same tip.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's the same
You're-
tip. Why has not tipping gone up with inflation? It's
Yeah.
the only thing that has not gone up. People
That's a good
still
point.
feel okay about tipping $2
Yeah.
in 2022. It's not okay. Like
Yeah,
it's,
but don't you think it's mostly either? I think some people that tip, they're going to tip a couple bucks because that's just what, regardless of the subtotal or what it is. I've seen that. I think there's a lot of older people that kind of have that, and I'm usually fine with that.
no,
I pick
it's
up a,
because the delivery fees are so
Sure.
high.
sure.
They
sure.
think that we've talked about this before, Pedro. I don't mean to repeat myself, but the
Mhm.
customer thinks, well, goddamn, I just got charged $18 in fees.
Yeah.
Certainly the driver gets a majority of that.
Gets a
They
majority.
don't-
Yeah.
Back in the day when somebody ordered Domino's, it was like, here's your bill and here's your delivery fee, 50 cents or $1. And that was it.
Yeah.
And then the customer was on their own to tip at the door. That's not the case anymore. Customers pay a massive premium and they
Yeah.
think, God damn, I just paid $46 for a pizza. Certainly the driver got the majority of that. So they are not educated or informed.
No, you're right. You're right about that for sure. And I think, like I pick up a guy on Rideshare. I take him a few miles. He gives me $1 every time I pick him up.
$1.
And I'm grateful though, because the guy's older. He doesn't have to give me any, and he's a nice old man. Like I can just, you have to understand some consumers do think differently about tipping. And I'm grateful. He's a nice dude. Like it's a really easy thing. He's always like, here you go, Sonny, have a great day. And he gives me $1. And I'm like to the moon. I'm like, hey,
is he 87 years old or older?
He's probably about that. Yeah. And
okay.
for me, I'm like, I'm good with that. Like I'm good with it because he's kind. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not like, but if somebody, if I'm delivering you 10 pizzas and you give me $1, it's a little bit different. And you're like 30 or 40 years old, like you should know a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I understand this guy, his perspective, $1 to him, dude, he used to be able to go to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal for a nickel. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the world has changed for this guy. So for me, getting $1 from him, I'm like, I'm happy as can be. You know what I'm saying?
It's also cultural. I mean, like I lived in Germany for a few years, and they do not tip there, and they get angry if you try to.
Yeah.
Like, because they get paid a fair wage, and they think it's insulting if you try and tip them. So
it's a good circle.
I know there's lots of countries like
this
that.
Conversation. Should we make minimum wage? And it circles all the way back.
Yeah.
Do we get protections, insurance, minimum wage?
Yeah.
We don't. Gig drivers don't want it. If we wanted it, we just go work for Domino's or Chick-fil-A and get all those protections and minimum wage. The Biden administration, who full disclosure, I voted for, this one pissed me off because they didn't take the temperature of the gig economy to say, hey, do you guys want this? They're trying to protect us without asking us if we want the protection. And that pisses me off.
Well, how would they ask us? How would they ask us?
Like polls or local polls or their constituents on the ground saying, hey, do you gig workers feel taken advantage of? No, we feel fine. We love it. And they all of a sudden decided to put this proposal forward, which again will take several years to go through, like on our behalf to try and protect us. We don't want that protection. If we did, we'd go work for Domino's.
I think there are a lot of drivers that don't want it, but I still, this is my slightly ignorant opinion because I'm not educated on it. This is my gut feeling. I think there are a lot of drivers that don't like this and do think they're being taken advantage of and are struggling and that do want to be employees. I do believe there are a lot of drivers that feel.
Why wouldn't they just go get a regular W-2 job at Domino's or Chick-fil-A?
Couple reasons. I think a lot of us, we have to remember a lot of us want something without having to do something a lot, right? We're in this kind of mindset right now with the workforce. So people don't want to do Domino's because you got to wear a hat, you got to do this, you got to clock in, you got to make pies, you got to sauce a pie every once in a while. You got to mop the floors. You got to all this stuff, right? You got to ask off for PTO. Well, with DoorDash, you ain't got to do none of that, right? If I don't want to work a Friday night because I want to take my girlfriend out every Friday night, I don't dash. So now I got every Friday night off. I don't have to talk to a manager. Don't run through no hoops, no nothing. I ain't got to wear a hat. I ain't got to wear a polo. Well, my point is people like this kind of work for that kind of freedom and flexibility and working in their pajamas if they want, but they also want protection. They want both. Like they want their cake and eat it too. I think there are a lot of drivers that want that.
I mean, they have to understand they have to pick one or the other. Are you a W-2? Or are you a 1099? Like pick one.
Yeah. Okay, controversial question here. Do you feel like that is cross-generational, or do you feel like that is delegated specifically to certain generations of dashers? It's more than 1%.
I think it's cross-generational. I will say that. I'm 47. I've got 20,
no. I mean, but you're saying that you want to be an employee.
I'm just saying. I think a lot of the dashers who I've seen who want to be employees are younger.
That's what I'm asking. Do you? And I was asking everybody, like, do you think that it's generational, or do you think that that's cross generational? Because I feel like I feel like it's situational to a specific generation. Like I don't think that it's
the younger drivers. I don't think want to. I mean, I watch these. We all do this all day long, and if you guys look kind of in your surroundings and see some of these drivers that pick up, they're in no man's land. They walk in. The other day, I had to tap a girl on the back and say, "Hey, you forgot a bag," and she's like, "Oh," like they are in oblivion. They are not. They have their ear pods in. They're not paying attention to shit. They don't give a damn about customer service. I mean, I see it all the time. I don't think they would want to be an employee. They're often never land, just delivering.
But that's what I'm asking is who do you guys think who do you think does want to be an employee? Like who is it that's looking who is looking for this in that 1% to 10% of dashers and drivers? Because my understanding of this is it wouldn't just be dashers, it would be Uber Eats, it would be Instacart, it would be like everyone. And so it's like who I haven't met anybody, and I talk to dashers all the time.
I haven't either.
But honestly, like, who are these people?
The only people it can be, I think, is people who are just ignorant and think that they can kind of mess around and do whatever they want and still get that hourly what they're making now. Like you can cherry pick and get your hourly. I think it's literally just.
I would think people. younger folks, maybe in their young 30s with a young family, would be my only demographic that I would think certainly isn't us older folks that have been around the block. I don't think
speak for yourself. Speak for
yourself.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I don't know about that. I'm 30 and I
mean I'm
40. We're good.
The only demo I can think of is like right in the middle with maybe some younger kids and middle class.
Yeah, I'm thinking like not even 30. It's like I'm thinking like 25 to 29.
Maybe
like that's my guess because like it's that generation, and I'm not being political, but I feel like if I were to look at their voting card, it would have like progressive next to it. So
you're saying millennial. You like millennials?
No. I mean like
the
yes, because that
is what you're trying to say.
I feel like progressive generally falls more into that category too. That could be completely wrong, but of age group, I mean,
that's probably.
But
right.
I feel like it's a specific age group that is just loud. I don't know that there's Pedro. I don't agree necessarily anymore that there's more of them. I think they're just louder.
Or it's people that just haven't taken the time to learn the market and know what they're doing.
Yeah, because they're too lazy to do it.
I guess maybe as the only millennial, I'll say I want the W-2 life and I want the benefits and I want the healthcare, and I work a W-2 job to get that.
Yeah.
I do DoorDash. I do DoorDash as my side. I do DoorDash as my side because I want I want the hourly, I want the healthcare, and I want like all that, and I have a job that gives me that, and then I do DoorDash as my like fun money.
When I'm bored. And like I'm a Zennial, and it's like the same thing. So like I grew up with no cell phone, and I grew up with a bunch of cell phones. So it's like, you know, I want to, you know, being a Zennial, it's like I want that W-2 because I know that I want to, but I also love what I do. Like what I do on a daily, I'm super passionate about, but I'm passionate about everything I do, obviously. So, but it's like, I also want, I want that freedom. And I feel like there's just a lack of education from the fact that they're not being required to research this, and they're just being hand fed it by the policymakers saying, oh, let's do this. But they're not giving them the 184-page bullet point that Steve gave us earlier that shows them this is what it's going to do. It's going to take away everything you love about the app. And you're basically, I mean, I can imagine being forced to, I still say no. I was going to ask a bunch of qualifying questions, but if I were to wake up tomorrow and it was to say, Sheila, you're going to be an employee of the DoorDash, you're going to wear the shirt, I'd be like, no, I wear Pedro's hoodie. That is it. I'm going to work.
But you have to know that it works.
Don't drag Pedro into this.
Yeah, hold on. Don't talk to DoorDash about me, please. Don't.
Because of
if they know you by first name, then that's not my problem. That is a you thing.
No. If they know me, that's my own cause. It's my own fault.
Exactly.
So I can live with
the
that.
litigation questions we raised earlier, honestly, we are 3-4, I would say, with as big as the platforms are, 5 years out. When they battle each other in court, then they appeal, then they go back, they appeal some more. We'll be in a new administration by then. I mean,
potentially two of them.
Yeah. Biden may still be the president. We don't know. I personally don't think he's going to run again, but we'll be in a new administration. So this thing is going to litigate itself to death over and over the years. So as all of us right now stand, This is not going to happen overnight. It's a good discussion to have, but we've got
it's not going to happen overnight.
Years.
I think the way, just based on what Jesse has shared, he likes the benefits, needs the benefits, so he has a W-2. He's doing DoorDash for fun money, I think is what you said, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I think, and this is, everybody does DoorDash how they want. I did it for a year, and I grinded, and that was like most of my income. Right now, it's less because I built something else. But I think the way Jesse does it is the perfect way, in my opinion. I think having a career, a W-2, something, it doesn't even have to be a W-2, but like a main source of income. That's what I'll say. That provides you the ability, whether it's W-2 or it's a business, self-employment, whatever, 1099, that gives you the ability to have benefits, whether you pay for them out of pocket or you're provided by an employer. Maybe you even have some 401k or there's something there. And then doing these apps on the side for money to go on vacation, fun money to eat out every week, or money to do this. Or I think that's the ideal way, in my opinion. What do you guys say to that?
That's
or in my case, you have a wife that has a W-2,
nice,
and the insurance and everything.
Well, that's even better, I guess.
I have my bills I'm responsible for.
Yeah,
and I do all the delivery apps to pay my side, and then she has the insurance and pays everything else.
But you can go eat what you kill. If you need to go out and make $200 because the damn cell phone bill is due, and that's on you, you go out and you can get that if you need to.
Yeah.
I think I'm double.
You can't ask your manager, hey, can I work on salary at a restaurant? Hey, can I work an extra 15 hours this week because I need some more money? No, you can't. On a salary job, you cannot do that. On this, if we want to go out and work till 4 goddamn a.m. in the morning to make the money we need, we can.
I think I'm definitely double dipping in that market. My wife's a bartender, so she's all cash.
Oh, you're good. Listen, man. You know what? Listen, I love my life. I love my girlfriend. She's literally the best thing that's happened in my life. Shout out to Madison. Literally the best thing. Okay. But she don't work. I 100% of what we live off of is me. And I'm okay with that because that's how we have our setup, right? But I'd be lying to say when you guys are, oh, my wife's a bartender, I'm like, damn, it must be nice. Like, because there's pressure when you're the 100%, there's pressure there sometimes, right? When you're 100% providing, like, even though that's how we have our relationship, and that's, she's with the baby and she does a lot of other things that I don't want to do and can't do. Sometimes it's like, damn, what if she just worked like a day a week? That would be nice to have that little extra money. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm always thinking like, all right, I just got to figure out how to make more money.
But she does work a bit because you sent her out on those no-tip videos.
Yeah, she made a little bit of money.
A little bit of work this year, bro.
Yeah, she made a little bit.
She did a great.
I see you haven't talked about that anymore. I think she quit. I feel you haven't told us yet, but she quit.
Great,
no. She wants to do more, but she went to Virginia to go see her sister, and then we came back. We've been busy doing other stuff. She's gonna wind up dashing. Like, she likes it because she just likes to get out and split up the day a little bit, right?
Yeah, but don't make her do that no tip stuff anymore. We don't need that content. Leave a poor woman alone.
She was excited. She was
excited.
Let's go. She was excited.
I don't mean to get like too philosophical here, but so I during the pandemic, basically my job ceased to exist. And then my son was born, and he was premature, so he had to, we had to stay home. So that's when I started dashing, was like January of this year, and just to do something to try and provide something. And that's why my wife will never see this, but shout out to her that I'm not making. She's the one who's making more money now than me, and it's never been that way in our 12 years together. And it took me a while to adjust to that. It's just stupid old man stuff. It's just like I didn't like that I wasn't the provider anymore. But she was like, you work just as hard as I do, and I'm proud of you for finding something to do. Where you can make something.
Yeah, I feel that though. I think,
and that's why when people look down on me, like, everybody gets it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you're delivering people, or it's a restaurant employee, and I just want to be like, mother, I make more money an hour than you do.
Yeah, I know, right?
What?
Yeah.
What are you looking down on me for?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, quick question. I know this is like a totally, everything was so soft and pretty. But how many of you have, just to really, how many of you guys have people that are like, do you make good money doing this? And you lie and say no.
Oh, I tell people,
I
tell people what I make, but I also tell them that's not normal and that it could take you a while to do that.
That's exactly.
I don't tell anybody because my master has so many people in it right now that I don't want to tell anybody.
I run into people that I know on a daily basis because I was in the restaurant business for 20 years, and I just run into people like, "Hey, bro, like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm door dashing. I built a food truck. I'm kind of waiting for the health department to approve it, so I'm doing this in the meantime." And then I kind of tell them what I make, like, just so you know, it's not that bad of a gig. Like, it's. And a lot of times they say back to me, "Oh yeah, like my friend does it or my sister does it," and they say it's really good money.
Mm-hmm.
I took a friend of mine on a ride along one time, and taught her how to do everything.
Yeah,
and now she's doing it, and she makes about the same that I do. And it's just it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not all you have. You definitely have bad days, but you got bad days when you work in a factory. So
to shout you out, Pedro, I'm like big into like YouTube. I YouTube like in my free time or like watch YouTube videos. And I started DoorDash, and the first day I went out, I was like, I'm just gonna accept everything, do whatever, and like try and learn. And then I got home that day, started YouTube and found you pretty quickly. Like just YouTube and how to DoorDash and stuff. Started watching your videos, and like I think my second week, like every time I was going out, I was making 20, 25 an hour, and like very quickly, obviously from your videos, caught on to like not taking the less than $1-2 a mile. Like so, I had almost no learning curve, I guess, maybe, because
which is good. That's what the channel was intended to do. The channel was
and that's the thing,
I had learned from other people,
So, but that's what's interesting is like, as you've tried to like rein it in, because you're like, it's hurt people's feelings. Like, hey, this is how you should do it. Like me and I think his name is Jesse, right? The guy next to me on the screen.
Yep.
So Jesse and I both started watching you in order to like learn, because that's like, it sounds like the people we are, because we're like, I want to do this better. Let me research it. So there's a YouTube video for everything. And the way you came off of like, no, don't do that. Like, it changed my income, and I'm grateful for that. Like,
That's
I'm grateful for Petty Pedro, because those
we need the world needs
income.
Petty Pedro. The world
no tip, no trip.
No tip, no trip.
Jesse just have a kitten on his right shoulder.
Yeah, dude.
There it is. And you're drinking Bud Lights out of an aluminum bottle.
Yeah,
I was lucky because I decided to do this. My son was born
up there
December 28th, so it was holidays and nothing to do. So I applied for all my stuff, and while I was waiting for my background checks to go through, I'm obsessive, so I got on YouTube. So I saw you, Pedro, and Nugs, and
Nugs, he's cool too.
Another guy whose name escapes me. So I knew before I went out the door the first time, and it was winter, and I drive a Subaru, so I don't care if it's snowing. And so I started right off the bat making $25-$30 an hour, and thought that's the way it was going to be every damn day. And it ain't in the summertime, but I did really good my first few months, and I was really excited about it.
Yeah, I want to read.
Make a sandwich. I love her.
Yeah, but I there's one I missed from Gig. Anyways, Gigwise basically said something to the effect of, you tell a girl you meet at a bar that you do delivery for a living and watch her eyes light up. And he's being funny. I know Gigwise. Shout out. He's in St. Louis. But I want to say this, and then I'm gonna round it out because I got some other people waiting. But this has been a great conversation. A lot of times when I see family members or friends or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, how's it going? You still doing DoorDash? How's it going? Is it working? You still making money?" Like half the time they look at me like they're like surprised I'm still doing it, And the other half, they're like, happy that I'm doing okay. But now they know I have YouTube and other things, right? But like, I don't ever want a driver, because I don't want any of us to be like ashamed about what we're doing. Like we are providing a service. I look at us as we're hustlers, and I hustle the gig apps and I use them to my benefit. And I feel very proud to say, yeah, hey, I pick people up on Uber. I say, this is what I say. I say, I deliver McDonald's. I do that for a living, and I teach people how to do it on YouTube, and it's entertaining, and I make money. And I just bought a house doing that. So for me, it's very proud. It's like some of us look at it like, oh, I don't want to tell people I work for DoorDash. No, fuck that. I'm going to tell people I work for DoorDash. I don't care. And I think that, there's value in work and just working, because there are a lot of people that don't even work and they're lazy. So when people ask me what I'm doing, if you got 20 minutes, I'll tell you about my last 2 years, and I'm very proud of it. And I think a lot of us should be. We delivered during a pandemic. A lot of us are hitting our goals. Like we're building on something, or I think it's a honorable thing just to keep the damn lights on and food in the fridge. And if DoorDash allows you to do that, or Uber or Instacart, when somebody asks you what you do, we should be proud to say, hey, this is what I do. I work when I want. I don't work the weekends. I don't work at night. I mean, people are like, oh, you really make good money doing that? Well, I make good money doing that because I folded it into other things. Right. And Jesse is able to do this kind of work, and he has play money, and he's able to have a cat chill on his shoulder, and he's got a Bud Light Platinum or whatever he's drinking. He's chilling. It's Sunday night. He's chilling. He's posted up. Like, to me, that is like, it's awesome. All of us are able to talk nonsense on a Sunday night for a couple hours. We don't have to be out there, in a kitchen sweating. We don't have to be here. We don't have to be there. We don't have to feel like we got to work the apps. Like, I think we have to be more proud of just actually providing a service in this economy and doing something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and what I always say, and this is in my own admittedly arrogant way, when somebody says, "Why are you still doing that?" I say, "Because I'm fucking good at it."
There you go. Yeah, I mean,
and I make good money at it, so why would I not do it?
I couldn't agree more with that, man. And it's an easy job. 99% of the time, this is not hard. It's not rocket science. I think some of us, myself included, we overthink this work sometimes. We overthink it. We do that. We've seen videos, and we're all guilty of that on some level, I think, sometimes. But like, if you're providing for your family, for yourself, you're hitting your goals, you're paying your bills, if you're feeling good about what you're doing, it's nothing wrong. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of work you're doing. If you're feeling good, I think that should be enough, in my opinion. So
I don't think. Yeah, I feel like a badass like every day. Like, I'm doing what I have to do to take care of my family. Yes. I'm not ashamed of what I do. I'm not bothered by what I do. Like, but I've had side hustles my whole life. So like, when I had my W-2 and I didn't know that I could get into gig work, I teach swim lessons. I teach American Red Cross classes. Like, I teach these things, contract off to the side, and just bring in extra money to like supplement my income. Mm-hmm. And like, that doesn't make me less. It makes me more, because I'm doing what I've got to do to take care of my family, and I'm providing more than most people can. And I'm almost debt free. Like, it's a, because of DoorDash, Uber, and all this side hustle stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we miss that. And, I complain about the apps, and, we all do it. It sucks sometimes, but like, I think there's more positives than negatives. And when somebody looks down, like, you deliver to some customers, and, or you go to merchants and they're like, oh, you delivering DoorDash, or you walk in with your bag and people like look at you and it's like, what are you looking at, dude? Like, seriously? Like, we have to, I'm proud of what I do because I'm providing for my family. And I think that's, at the end of the day, that's all that should really matter, So, listen, I appreciate y'all. Just a good segment. It went a little long, but the conversation was great. I appreciate all of you guys. Shout out Driven for Dinner, Jesse, Declan, Matrix, Chris from Arizona. Appreciate you guys coming on. I got a couple people waiting. I'm going to bring them in, but you guys have a good night. And I hope you guys are looking forward to next Saturday. I hope you guys can make it or watch the replay. We're going to do a virtual con. It's going to be very, very, very different, a live experience. I hope you guys are can tune in and check that out. So
Peace, Pedro.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Later, man.
Okay, so let's go ahead and so we have some people have been waiting for a while. I don't know if they're still here. So what I'm going to do is let me clean this up for a second. Hold on one second. Let's do that. That conversation was just kind of going, and I just didn't want to stop it. So let's see. Hold on. Okay, so I see we have the Driven Dad, the Driven Mom, and we have Uber MVD. Now, if you guys are still here, because I don't want to put you up if you're not ready, you're still here. Let me know in the chat. If you guys could just put me a little message in the live chat. What up, Gig Lebowski still in the house? Music City Gig Hustler, John. I see I'm Nefarious, Dashing Grandpa. Hope you guys are liking the conversation. Hope you're getting something from it. Gene Parks, what up? Make a sandwich. Yes, Gene. Make a sandwich. If you're too broke to order DoorDash, make a sandwich. Make a sandwich. If you can't leave a tip, make a sandwich. Let's see. Tony and Lisa, yeah. Here, I believe. Okay, cool. Okay. So I'm going to bring you guys in. What up, Trevor? Thanks, man. Appreciate you for saying that. Yeah. I love doing these Sundays, man. It's a good way to end the week. It's a good way to start the new week coming up. It's a good time. I think it's a safe place. There's no drama here. We can talk. Everybody can share opinions. It's a good place to be. Appreciate everybody for coming in and spending any time, whether you're listening or you're driving or you're watching or whatnot. Hit the thumbs up. We've had a great stream tonight. So Dash and Trader in the house. What up? Yes. Hashtag make a sandwich. Yes, sir. Make a sandwich. Let's see. What up, Gigwise? I'm here lurking and listening. Thank you, Melissa. Anybody can lurk here. I love the lurkers. Even if you don't say nothing, appreciate you for watching. Hope you're getting some kind of entertainment or whatever. You know, I talk nonsense half the time, but it's all good. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see here. Okay, so I think we have, let me bring in the Driven Dad, Driven Mom, and Uber MVD, see if these guys are here. The Driven Dad, are you with us?
Present.
Let's see.
Present.
Lisa, are you with us?
I'm here.
Present. Got it. Let me see. Uber MV. Oh, I can see him right there. How you doing, man?
All aboard, Pedro.
What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Good, man. Pleasure, man. It's an honor.
Hey, I'm happy that you're here, man. So what do you guys got going on? I know you guys have been waiting for a while. Sorry if the conversation went long. What do you guys think about the topics, or what do you guys got going on in your mind tonight? Go ahead. It's open discussion at this point with you guys. Anybody can start.
The Driven family, mom and dad, y'all want to go first?
You got it.
I'm gonna go first, just because.
Awesome.
I want to have. I know what Tony's gonna say, and I want to have the good lines before he takes them.
Ooh, I like it. I like it already. Let's do it. Go ahead.
Obviously, the main topic for me that I want to talk about is being classified as an employee.
Okay.
And I think you said it earlier in the show, but I homeschool our 5 kids. Mm-hmm. Gig work is the only way that I can help contribute to the finances. If we get reclassified as employees, I'm out. Like, I cannot participate in the workforce, because then I'd have to put my kids into public school. I'd have to put my younger ones into daycare, because mm-hmm. there's not a W-2 that gives me the freedom and flexibility that gig work does. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just talking about food delivery and rideshare. I'm talking about, like, I've done freelance writing. Freelance writing is going to get destroyed by this as well. Like, it is not just us that's going to be affected by this. It's every single person who does some sort of freelance gig work, independent contractors. Like, it's everybody.
Yeah.
It's I think Steve said in the chat at one point, it's 34% of the American population.
Mm-hmm. 60. And I think it's almost 60 million people, which is it's crazy.
It's a ridiculous amount, and it's something that everybody should be worked up about, not just those that do gig work. Because if we aren't doing that work anymore, if we're being forced to be employees, a lot of people are not going to do it. Or, like, these services are going to be taken over by the government. And whenever the government, this is my opinion, whenever the government gets involved, it gets screwed up.
It definitely can be. Yeah. And I think, I mean, what you guys are doing and how you guys use these apps is, I think, really rare, which is awesome. But you make it work for your family and what's important for you guys. So I understand the passion of being like, no, I can't be. I don't want to be reclassified. It screws up my whole family dynamic, basically, right? It would, for the reasons that you just mentioned. But do you think that, Steve even said, and many other people that were on the panel, we could be several years away from it even being a possibility. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you at this point that it could be possible? 10 being like really worried, 1 being not worried.
I'm actually, here's my issue. I'm actually not going to answer that question because I don't think it really matters if it happens today or if it happens 5 years from now. It's something that we should all be worried about now, because in 5 years, it does matter if this goes through. Maybe not for us, but it is going to matter for future generations. I'm sorry, I'm trying to raise my kids to be good contributing members of society. I don't want society to have gone to shit for them. We need to be worried about this kind of stuff. The reason why we have all the freaking debt that we have now is because the generation before us screwed us over. I'm sorry, I'm heated.
No, don't apologize. Don't apologize.
I want the world to be better for my kids than it is for me. That's why they're in homeschool, I would imagine, right? Yes.
That's a big part of it. That's a big
part of it, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Tony, what do you say?
I think we need to be worried about it now. That's my answer to that.
Yeah. The driven dad?
I just wanted to comment on the cup situation.
Okay. Hold on. Let me bring that banner up. And I think I got the Uber MVD smiling, so I think maybe he's got an opinion too. Let me bring the cup banner up. Hold up. Okay, so should drivers fill a drink cup? Tony, the floor is yours.
Right. I mean, I guess we're ICs, we can make our own choices on that. But what annoys me is that these restaurants that have you fill the cups, they put the lid and the straw inside the cup. What, you want me putting my hands in this person's cup? That's, what the heck? Okay, even if I have my hands washed, still, it's I'm putting my hands, when I'm filling my own drink for my own food, I don't like to touch more than my lid. Now
so what do you do?
Somebody's cup.
What do you do in that situation? Have you been in that situation where that happened, and how did you handle it?
Yeah, I just asked them to take the lid back out of the cup, but it's why did they do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think who knows? I think it's and I've even seen it to where they'll hand you a unwrapped straw, or you have to. It's what? Hold on here. So then you got to grab. Do you grab a napkin? Do you not? Do you not even give them a straw? Do you keep wrapped straws in your car?
What I do with that is I throw that damn straw away and give them one that I got from another restaurant.
That's what I'm saying. I think some of us keep a wrapped straw in a glove box or something like that, or in a bag somewhere, something like that. So you are of the. Now I know Tony's not delivering an empty cup because Tony doesn't roll like that, right? But
if I got so petty, I would just unassign it. I would not be doing that.
Yeah, I've unassigned it too. Do you think you would ever just ask the employee to do it because you don't want to? Have you ever had to do that, or do you just kind of roll with it?
It's annoying, but I'm just trying to make money. They're trying to do their job, whatever.
Yeah. I hear that. Uber MVD, what do you say about drivers filling up cups and being reclassified as an employee? What do you say to these things?
Oh, man, you put the spotlight on that clown last night, Pedro. I usually fly pretty straight. I'm not for the clownery. I try and deliver to a specific market, and I really get a relationship with the merchants in that market. So where I stand with the filling up of cups, generally I don't take offers from merchants that I know I have to fill the cup up unless it's a banger. And when I mean banger, I mean like $2 a mile minimum heading in the direction I'm trying to head in. So I just avoid it altogether. That's my stance on it.
So do you have a few places in your market that you know that if an offer comes in, let's just use Wingstop as an example, or maybe even Panera or something like that, or Taco Bell, like if you see it and it's $8 going a mile, but if you know that place, you know, is gonna have you fill a drink, you would take it for that because it's good money. But if it was like $5, you might not, because you might have to make a drink. Is that what you're saying?
It would have to be, and also it'd have to be like a minimum of like $10 for me to fill the cup up. I know it might sound petty, but like I got better things to do.
Yeah.
And I take a lot of time making up other mistakes for these companies that my time's just spent better elsewhere, you know, working with other customers and other merchants. That's my stance on it, you know. I guess in certain, but hey, if I take it with a good attitude, knowing that I'm gonna have to fill a cup up or two, which is fine. You know, I have drink.
Yeah, you're not gonna deliver an empty cup.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's, to me, I know you said I was harsh yesterday. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. But I thought that's clown activities in my opinion. Like, you can't be delivering empty cups, because at the end of the day, the customer should not have to suffer because either Wingstop was lazy or the driver was lazy. Because we should be taking good trips, right? So we're assuming, in my world, there's probably a tip on there. They value our time, our automobile. They value what we do for them. So why am I going to disrespect the customer because Wingstop ain't got their stuff together? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, two wrongs don't make a right, you know. But
definitely.
What do you say about the reclassification? Did you know about this before hearing about it tonight? You know, how would you feel about being classified as an employee?
I heard a little bit about it, you know, but I hadn't really sunk my teeth into it or anything. But like, not just across your channel, but just like across YouTube in general, like all the news agencies are covering it too. So like, it's definitely getting to the point where I think we have to start maybe wondering what direction this is going to go in the future. I'm in the boat of like 3 to 5 years, I think, until they could really change it, especially on a federal level. I don't know. They have pushed things through faster, you know. No, I think our biggest problem is right now these companies don't want the unionization and restrictions on it because they have so many ants that will take everything. It's benefiting them. But if they start unionizing, I don't know. It's a throw up, because then they're gonna, like you said, we'll cut back on how many workers they have, and it's just gonna be. I like the flexibility. I'm a business owner outside of this. I own a lawn care and a landscaping company. Unfortunately, I had partners involved with it, and they ruined things last year. So I took this year off. I didn't really know what I was going to do. I signed up for Uber Eats. I had experience using gig apps for lawn care. There's several companies out there that are like the Uber of lawn care. So like, as I was building my own clientele, I was using the apps to help, like, so I had experience. Like, my biggest thing to everyone is learn how to use and manipulate these apps. Do not let these apps manipulate and use you, because you will lose money.
Facts.
You
I
have to
believe
know
that.
your numbers, and you have to stick by them. And no tip, no trip. Literally, when I get offers from door trash, as I call them, when they ask like why you won't take the order, I literally type in no trip, no tip, or no tip. Or sometimes I just
that's awesome.
Pager Santiago.
So let me ask you a question, because I think you just said something that kind of interests me a little bit. You're a business owner, landscaping, had some partners, some things didn't go the way that you would have liked them for whatever reason, and you went to the gig economy to make some money, right? And so, you know, it seems like you have had overall positive experiences because they were there. The gig apps were there for you at a time where maybe you needed them, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And they brought me out of the dumps about that. And I had some other like life things happen at the same time. I was really down about life at the time. And I signed up for Uber Eats, and I started on a Thursday night about 10 months ago, and I made like $75 in 4 hours. I have the best first delivery story.
Let's hear it.
Burger King, no tip, $3. pull into the wrong spot. You know, the Uber GPS isn't always the best.
Oh yeah.
Get out with their drinks, and I literally spill a 32-ounce Sprite all over my pants, my corduroy pants.
Oh,
so that was my first delivery, and I'm like, you know, a lot of people, they probably would have just hung it up after that. And
I was just gonna say, the fact that you're still doing it, like that says a lot. Because I don't know what I would have done. I would have been mad.
I was so, like, you know, ashamed and upset. You know, but the people were cool with it, so they understood, you know, accidents happen and everything. But
yeah,
it's really been good. The flexibility thing, you know, you can only cut grass during the daylight, really. You know, you can do this 24 hours.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what region or what market do you work in?
So I'm your opposite, man. I'm on the other end of 64. I'm in Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. I've been to Virginia a couple times.
The opposite end, where 64 ends out there in St. Louis.
Yeah, cool. That's what's up. That's what's up. So, Lisa, I want to ask you a follow-up question.
Okay.
So you mentioned that, you know, you're passionate about not being an employee now, not being reclassified, because it could change the landscape of how you basically run your family. I mean, you know, how you do what's important for you, which is beyond the gig apps, obviously, right? So what happens in 3, 4, 5 years if you're forced by government, business, whatever, labor department to schedule and do, you know, what do you think you would, like, what would you do? You know, because you're saying you'd have to maybe put the kids in school and do this and do that and get it, like, that would be, it sounds like that would be a big deal. So, like, if you, in your mind, if you process, like, what would I do if I had to come to that decision, or are you not there yet?
I mean, obviously it's something that Tony and I would navigate together, but prior to the gig apps, Tony had W-2 jobs, and he's an amazing provider, and he would never make a choice that's going to put our family at risk. So I know that if it was impossible for me to help contribute to the finances, he would say, you know, stay home, homeschool the kids. This lifestyle that we've chosen is super important to us.
Yeah.
And so he would do whatever it takes to provide for his family.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm extremely blessed because of that.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I think what everybody should be doing is, like you say, have a plan B. Like, don't make this your plan A. Like, don't put all your eggs in this basket. Like, have a plan B. Figure out other ways of, like, having multiple streams of income so that you're not reliant on one stream. Because, like, this regulation, it screws everything up if it goes through.
Yeah. And I think and I think we're seeing it in a lot of other sectors, a lot of other ways that people make money or live, right? And it's a growing trend, and it's definitely scary because, like, I just want to make my money. I'll pay my taxes, whatever you need, and just leave me alone. That's kind of like where I'm at, you know? And, like, you know, I realize we need, you know, regulations aren't always bad, but I don't feel like they're not needed in this particular space in this moment, at least. But I also know my perspective is different because I've overall had a positive experience in the gig economy, you know, and maybe I also have to remember maybe other people haven't had a positive experience like we've had here, and Uber MVD, you know, where he was able to go to the apps in a time where he needed it because his business was taken away or whatever, right? So, you know, it's just, I feel like we're like coddling to like lazy people. I don't know, maybe that's a strong sentence, but I just feel like we
Sorry, I don't know what's happened on my end. I cannot hear you at all.
Yeah, I can't hear you either anymore, Paige.
Oh, hold on. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad it's not me. I was like, I'm losing my mind.
Oh, you
cannot
know
hear
what?
him.
Listen, I was speaking nonsense. It doesn't matter. I don't know where you guys. That's weird. Yeah, I saw like something pop up. Anyways, I just think it's like they're taking away like from people that are hustling and using these apps and providing and surviving. Like having regulations could hurt a lot of people, and it could hurt people like the four of us here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and
I mean,
that's, you know.
if I could speak
I
to
think
the
a lot of it
regulations
has
part,
to
I
do with the
definitely
fact.
don't think that we should ignore the problems that the gig economy has, because there's definitely problems that need to be addressed. Like for us, they say we're like in this weird gray zone of being treated sort of like employees without the benefits of being an employee, and sort of like an independent contractor, but not a true independent contractor. Because if we were true independent contractors, we would be, like somebody called it bid work, we would be able to see the full price of what we're going to get paid, and we don't see that right now. Like DoorDash and Uber, they both have little, and Lyft too, have little tricks to hide the full fare to us. And that, I think, is one thing that needs to change. Like we should be, if we're going to be classified as independent contractors, we should be treated as true independent contractors and be able to see the full fare.
I agree. Yeah, it's because Uber does it too. They hide tips, and DoorDash obviously does it. Uber MVD. I think you were going to say something before Lisa made that point.
Well, I'll say two things real quick about what Uber hides and stuff. So I won't be able to see it until tomorrow, until my statements are released. But last night, I had someone in the car. Normally, I turn off requests when I'm doing rideshare and someone's in the car, because like I want to see all the information to pick up the drop off. If I have someone in the car and it hits my phone, it shows me the pickup on the map, but it only tells me the drop off in like wording. So I have to know like what I'm looking at fast. And usually, from what I've noticed, it's always the rides that have been waiting, and it's the lowest rate on what you're going to get for it. It's not like it's been hit by another few drivers and it's, you know, a higher rate. So it was actually a good one. It was picking up less than a mile away and only going a half mile for $6.99. I'm like, no problem. As soon as I pull up, and I had delivered to the lady before, so I kind of had a feeling, be ready for anything. I pull up, I'm waiting. Rider modified a trip. It was going to the 7-Eleven right up the street. It hit my phone again for $6.99. She made it a return trip, and I made the exact same thing, $6.99. Uber kept with everything of what they took for the return trip. I only made $8 off of it because I waited like 2 minutes for her to get in the car, and then 5 minutes at the 7-Eleven.
So it didn't modify because I've had that happen to me. It didn't modify or adjust the payment.
Yeah, normally it does go up, but this one stayed the same, I guess, because it was so close. But I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm taking her home for free. You're keeping the rest? Yeah.
That's stupid, man. Tony, you ever had that happen to you?
No, but I know Lisa was going to pick somebody up tonight, and they updated. They were like, hey, I need to go to the airport. And it was like originally a short trip, and then, you know, they're trying to play that game where, because nobody's picking up long trips, well, I won't say nobody, but a lot of people who are smarter are not picking up these long trips because they're just not very profitable anymore.
Yeah, especially if you don't get anything on the way back, depending on time of day, you're doubling your miles, and you know it could be $20, but if you got to drive 40 miles, that's not really good.
Let me just break it down like this. So before they did this upfront pricing, UberX from where I'm at right now in Park Meadows area, it's South Denver, right, to the airport is like $35. Now it's like $17.
Wow, that's crazy.
Where, you know, I get a Lyft Lux, just regular Lux to the airport, it's almost $60.
Yeah, that's wild. What I've noticed in the last month and a half, I've been doing more rideshare, and I love rideshare. I forgot how much I liked it. I started in the gig economy doing rideshare. I absolutely love it. There's always situations, but I like picking people up. I like talking to people. I like meeting people. I like taking people to the airport, taking them to work. I like picking couples up, taking them on a date night. Like, I love it. I really do. But what I've noticed lately when I'm doing some of my airport runs, and I don't know if you guys can relate, it's weird because like the airport, in my airport in St. Louis, there's 2 terminals, okay? A Southwest Terminal 2, and then Terminal 1 is everybody else, right? So if somebody, I don't know if it's a customer putting in the wrong location, but I know I'm going to Lambert because it tells me, and it tells me Terminal 2. I drop them off. And it seems like once or twice out of every 10 trips, it says that I'm not at the right place. And it's like I'm like half a mile away, okay? And it doesn't give me the full fare because I have to end the trip. Are you sure you want to end the trip? Yes, they're here. They're exactly where they need to be. But it's almost like Uber or the customer put in like the wrong part of the airport, and then I wind up making like usually it's like $2.50 less. Have you guys ever seen anything like that?
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't personally seen that, but I know that on Show Me the Money Club, they were talking about this very thing, and they had some screenshots of it with Sergio and Chris on the Rideshare guy when we were on there earlier this week, and it's definitely like, so they will take the money away from you, but you know that customer probably most likely 100% didn't get refunded any money.
Interesting. And the other thing I've noticed is the times it's happened, the customers tipped me really well. So like if it was a $25 run, it would go from 25, you know, expected fare, whatever, it'd go down to like $22.50, let's say. But then they left me like a really good tip. So like I wasn't like mad about it, right? Because I didn't feel like I lost out necessarily, but it was just a weird, it's only with the airport though. It's kind of strange. I don't know.
Yeah, I've had it where I've had like a super long thing. Because like the person put the actual gate where like the airplane is, and it was like a $60 trip, which should have been like a $40 trip. Yeah. But I got paid the $60.
Yeah, I think it's weird how the Uber app, like Uber MVD was saying, like the way the GPS and the pinning of the customer and this or that, it's really weird. It's like tricky, and that in-app navigation on Uber is like a lot worse than DoorDash, in my opinion, at least. I don't know what y'all think, but the in-app navigation on Uber sometimes is just not very good. I have to wind up like getting out of it and using my own sometimes, depending on where they're going. So. Man, okay. Listen, I want to bring something up if Lisa wants to. Well, I'm just going to say it. Like, we have a virtual con next Saturday. Lisa's going to be moderating, hosting a segment of that virtual con. Lisa, do you want to talk about that just a little bit? Maybe share some of the viewers of who you got coming on?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you, Pedro, for even giving me a segment in the virtual con. I really appreciate the opportunity to do that. So I'm, like you said, I'm hosting a panelist of female gig workers. I've got, oh my gosh, why did I just totally blank everybody's name? Sorry, I've got Faith. Her channel name is Dash or Pass. I've got Ellen with Delivering with Ellen. I've got Holly, Savvy Shopper, Sheila, who was on your stream just a little bit ago.
Yes, Driven for Dinner, yes.
Yeah, Driven for Dinner. And then I also have Michelle Sleet, who is actually not a YouTube content creator, but she runs 2 very large groups on Facebook for DoorDash. And she's incredibly well spoken. I don't know why she doesn't have her own YouTube channel, but and basically we're just talking about gig work from a female's perspective. I've got a couple questions that I'm going to ask them all, and I think it'll be a good time.
Absolutely. It's going to be one of the segments of the virtual con fall 2022. Next Saturday starts at 2 Central, 3 Eastern. The ladies' night segment is going to be basically around, I think, I can't remember, like 6:30 or so Central Time, you know, give or take. It'll be at least 30 minutes. It's going to be great. You won't have to worry about looking at me. It'll be the ladies on the screen giving you guys some content, sharing their perspectives, which can be unique. And also, like Lisa taught me a couple weeks ago, the majority of drivers or gig workers in what we do are women.
At least when it comes to delivery, not so much
Delivery,
rideshare.
Yeah, delivery for sure. And I think a lot of people that watch my channel mostly are doing delivery. We always,
right.
have some other people here, but I think it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. Do you guys have anything else you want to say before we round the show up?
Yeah, hold on one second. I think I don't know for you guys how it is in your states, but in Virginia, it is really hard to legitimize your business as far as getting any type of help from the city officials. They make it really hard. I think that's because they know when you're working for the man, which I consider it's basically you're a slave to society if you're working as a W-2 for most of these companies that are out there. They know they're getting their taxes. They're getting taken out weekly, and they can count on that. They know, hey, we're bringing in this much in tax revenue. Whereas if you are your own legitimate company, they're counting on you to do your taxes. And there are companies out there that figure out how to use these corporate loopholes to their advantage and pay very little taxes. That's one thing. The second thing is I think there is so many people nowadays doing the gig economy 1099 work that aren't paying their taxes, and the federal government knows it, and they want to see their dime off of it. And I think that's part of this, why they're pushing the crack at it now, why they want regulation of some sort. What direction it will go, we'll all have to wait and see. But I think that's part of the issue here.
I think it's a great point. I mean, we got to understand they want their money. Like, they want to be able to count on that and budget that money. And I think there are probably a decent amount of 1099s that maybe aren't paying the proper taxes or paying taxes at all. And especially a lot of people doing delivery, do it part-time. Maybe you made, 20 grand this year doing it or whatever, and you need to pay taxes on that 20 grand, and maybe they're not, right? They're not submitting it properly. And I think the states and the government know that, and they want to figure out, how do we get that money? Okay, well, if we make them employees, we can take it out every week or every 2 weeks, and I think there's definitely something to be said for that, for sure. Tony, Lisa, you got any final words of wisdom or comments before we end the show?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll definitely be talking to you on Saturday. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
So I just want to say that I did not start doing this stuff to become an employee. If I have to be an employee to do this, I will not do this. I will do a W-2 somewhere else, but I will also be building my own businesses and continuing along that path in any way I can, as far as not being made to do employment by the government. So, whatever landscape that is, once things all shake out, I will find a way to do it. But do not push off what can be done today for tomorrow, because this is important now. Get in touch with your representatives, whether you agree with my stance or the other way of being an employee. Like, get in touch, find out what your representatives are willing to bend to, whether it's freedom or employment, and make your voice heard. And go to that website that it says on the document and make your comment. There's plenty of other industries of people commenting that are going to be affected. We need to also comment as well. That's all I got.
It's a great point.
Yeah, and you have like 40 days to do that. So
40 days from when, like this past Thursday, right? I think it was. Or...
Well, it's 45 days since they submitted it, and it was Thursday. So I guess it's
Thursday.
like 42 or something.
Yeah. So we've got a little over a month, which will go by very quick. Holidays coming up, kids. So you got, if you're thinking about doing something now, you just do it now. You don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow you're going to say the next day. So, well, if you're watching this now and you you want to do something, you gotta do it. So
Yeah,
appreciate
for
you guys
sure.
for coming on. Appreciate you guys for coming on. Have a good night. If you guys are out, please drive safe. And thank you guys.
All right. Good
All right,
night.
peace. Thanks.
All right. Good show. Good show. Good show. All right. Weird. I don't know what happened with my headset. It's strange. And the mic and everything. Anyways, doesn't matter. Appreciate everybody for staying in. We had a lot of people watching tonight for most of the show. Appreciate that very much. I'm not going to do a live order tonight, only because I'm not hungry. So, I mean, I'll get back to that next week. I want to say kind of one final little word or outro or whatever for anybody that wants to hear it, needs to hear it, or doesn't want to hear it. You're going to hear it anyway if you're watching or you're watching on a replay. And I'm going to speak. Let me put this up here 1 second. See, how do we say this? Thanks, John Hill. Once upon a child sells new clothes for 0 to 14. Oh, is that a comment for? What's that mean, John Hill? I don't know what that means. Juiceco says you should do a live order and fill your own drink. Listen, I've done orders and done my drink, but that's kind of funny. Appreciate everybody for coming in. Thank you to all the moderators, Dash and Grandpa. I think Music City Gig Hustler. I think I saw you guys, and Bud Soda putting some links in the channels and things like that. Thank you guys very much. I'm going to be putting in prior videos, but then also videos that I'll have coming out this week. If you look at the description or show notes, whatever you want to call them, I'll be putting the website link to check out what we have going on in the virtual con. I'm also going to pin it right now, actually, as well, so you guys could check that out. Let me pin that for those that are watching. Replace pin comment. Message pin. Okay, so that, what? Hold on. Is that the wrong one? Yeah, that's the wrong one. Hold on. What just happened there? Oh, here we go. 1 second. I need to pin that one. What's going on here? Pin. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, so that is the Gig Worker Conference. You can find out what's going on next Saturday. And there's some spots you can submit questions, I believe, in there, I think. And also, if you can't, you can actually, if you're watching, you can email me if you have questions. Okay. The gig economy, man, the gig space, YouTube. I love YouTube. I love it. I've said it many times. YouTube is a great place to learn things for free. YouTube doesn't cost money. You know, some people pay for premium, or some of y'all guys might super chat me or do a membership. All that's voluntarily, and we appreciate all that as content creators. But YouTube's free. You can learn how to do things. You can learn how not to do things. You can get entertainment. You can escape from your busy day and watch a music video, or watch this, or watch whatever, watch some drama, watch people argue. YouTube's fantastic. In many ways, YouTube has changed my life in a lot of ways. I make money on YouTube. I've made awesome connections on YouTube. I have really good friends I've made from YouTube. Hannibal is Hungry is one of them. Hannibal is Hungry is one of my very good friends. We talk just about every day. We have a podcast together. I would not know Hannibal is Hungry and many of other people that I have connections with without YouTube. We never would have met them. But this space that we're in, the gig tube and YouTube and gig content creators, and everybody I feel like wants to be right. Not everybody. Some people want to be right. They want to be heard. They want to yell and scream and make up stuff. They want to, assume things. They want to lump people all into this part and this side, like it's a war, or like this is not that serious. We are delivering food to people, providing for our families. None of us should be out here arguing and all this. And I've seen people physically threaten violence. It's getting ridiculous. It's getting out of hand. This channel is not going to be about drama. I've said things in the past about certain people because they were my truth and they were what I felt. I've called people clowns. I've called people miserable. Not proud to say that I do that, but that's my truth and that's my opinion. And YouTube is a place where you can have an opinion and voice it, right? But it should never get to the point where it's like super, like just crazy. And this, in certain areas, it's getting like that. And there's a lot of lies and misinformation, and it's really sad to see it, because this place is full of a lot of really awesome people that watch and awesome people that have content. And while it makes for great entertainment and it's funny, and I think there's a subset of maybe like, 10 to 40 people that might even know what I'm referencing and the drama and this and that. It's just, it's crazy, and it's childish, and it's really sad, actually. And I think there's a lot of people there are some people that have channels, and they're so involved, and they think everything is said that it's like about them, right? So people think, oh, I use the word clown, so I have to be talking about that. No, there's a lot of people in this world. There's a lot of people that have channels. There's a lot of people that we all interact with. We got to stop taking things so personal and so to heart. We're all grown adults here. We can have different opinions. People, we have to relax. We're delivering food. Okay. Oh man, it's wild. And I watch a lot of YouTube. I see a lot of people say, oh my God, people disrespect me and this and that. And, those things happen. It's all personal, right? But I'm going to tell you this right now. If I could sit here and make a video every day and go live every Sunday, okay, and not really be that bothered, because nobody gets more shit than me. Nobody gets more hate. Nobody. And we all have to do a better job of just letting some things go. Okay. Nobody's had more hate videos made. It's crazy. Okay. And I'm petty. Right? But we have to all just chill. It's YouTube. It's YouTube. It should be a place we can all come and get entertainment. And for all my fellow content creators, it could be a place where you can come and spew whatever you got going on, have your opinion, make money on YouTube. You should be honored. So we need to stop being jealous. We need to stop spreading lies. We need to do better as content creators, because there's a very small percentage of people that like the drama. I know most of you that are watching right now don't. So I could go on and on. But at the end of the day, I just want to share that message to the people that I know are watching. And I hope you feel something with that. I hope you feel like how ridiculous things are in certain channels. It's really bad. Like it's sad to this point, So I have said I'm not doing that stuff anymore. I don't do it. I haven't done it. I wish everybody else could just kind of follow and just stop. We got to do better. Anyways. Yeah. I think that's all I got. You guys have a fantastic night. I guess it's Monday already. Tomorrow, I don't think I'm working tomorrow, because I have a lot to do, actually, like other stuff. So my plan right now is not to go out, but then I know I always get a little like, ooh, I just work for an hour or two. So I don't know. I have no idea what the video tomorrow will be, but it will be whatever it happens and whatever I'm doing that day and whatever pops up, because it's always something, right? But it ain't going to be drama. And it ain't going to be spreading lies. It ain't going to be pettiness against this content creator and this and that and these community posts and blah, 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 blah. It's crazy. And if anybody feels like they've been more mistreated than me, you're wrong. I get the most hate. I get the most crazy emails. I've had people call me. I've had videos made. I've had defamation from multiple channels. And I'm still here making videos with a smile on my face. So if I can, I've had videos, I've had merchandise made with my face on it. Okay. If I can still if I can get past all that, you guys should need to start doing the same thing. See you tomorrow.